few seconds to make sure that that she's good to go. I don't know why, because I feel like we're right almost every time. I feel like I'm maybe second guessing you, Drew, by doing that. And that's not
You
right.
have a lot of reasons to second guess. A lot of reasons, a lot of historical evidence for that.
There's only
We got a heart.
All right, here we go. Oh, of course. And now, well, I know we should be good because immediately what should be showing us as a podcast is an ad by YouTube. Gosh, YouTube and their ads.
Oh, that's nice.
They
Maybe it's
crush
something
us.
we need.
I know. All right. Welcome back to the Tier 1 podcast live. We have a great show this Thursday. With us, we have Daniel Gade, author of Wounding Warriors, How Bad Policy is Making Veterans sicker
and poorer. Yes,
and
sir.
absolutely, we just recorded that episode. It'll get you going. I read his book. It'll get you going too. It's really, and it might upset a few people.
It's a banger. It's
and
going
that's
to really
okay.
upset some people.
If it upset you, then maybe you're part of the problem. Besides that, with us, we got Craig over on the couch from the Rundown podcast and 2A News. Welcome to the show in the studio.
Looking forward to hanging out with you.
Heck yeah. As always, we got Magnet from Lion Arms.
No.
We got Drew back there producing it. That to the best of his abilities.
Hello to Maui. Maui. You guys know it.
All right, that's exactly how I expected him to start it off. We have an intro for the live. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thought I'd have a little bit of fun.
I made the intro.
You made the intro, not just individual, but even a group picture.
I love that.
Yeah, I am a little upset. I just didn't have time. I was upset that they made us all the same height, and you know that's a lie.
It's not.
And you know that's a lie. You could,
Magnet and I appreciate it.
I know. I look good.
Oh man, let's start it out with something that is still near and dear to my heart, and that's Grandmama Nancy. Drew.
Yeah. Oh.
Nancy Guthrie update, day 19. For all of you that are tracking it as vigilantly as I am, are you tracking this?
Yeah, if somebody kidnapped my mother-in-law, I think they'd give her back right away. I think that would not go to their benefit, but I feel really sorry for that lady. That sucks.
I'm enthralled by this story. Actually, it's only because it's the live. You know, we try to make it entertaining. Not necessarily making light of it because it's crazy. What are you doing kidnapping an 84-year-old? And we don't really. There hasn't been like any real substantial updates. But let me tell you what we got this week. There was a man arrested and charged with allegedly sending a false ransom demand to the family. Derek Kalala, 42, of Hawthorne, California, was charged with sending a demand for ransom in interstate commercial and making a phone call without disclosing his identity. He and his mom apparently got arrested. He has a history of being in jail. They ended up releasing him. They found some DNA in the scene. They found a glove like a mile or two away. They looked into that, and the DNA didn't match anything in their database. So it doesn't mean that it wasn't part of the kidnapper. It just means if it was, then they don't have his DNA in the database. Here's what upset me the most about the updates this week. Get ready for this. An anonymous person donated $100,000 towards the reward. Okay, that's a good thing, right? The FBI is already putting up $100,000 for this reward. So we have a total of $200,000 for this reward. This question's for you, Daniel. And do you know who her daughter is?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what she makes a year?
I'm guessing 12, 15 million.
Well, that was way better of a guess than I had. $8 million. $8 million.
And she hasn't put any money in it herself.
$8 million. Let's just go around the room just real quick. And of course, this is dependent on your family dynamic, so it's hard to do this cold. Craig, you make $8 million a year. What, your mom gets kidnapped. What are you putting up for a ransom? Oh, for a ransom? No.
You don't know my mom, let me tell you.
What are you putting up for a reward?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to go and I'm going to hire somebody to go find her and go get her. I'm not putting up a reward.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to pay a couple of bangers to go frigging find her and handle the folks who took
You
her.
could hire a small army.
Some of your old colleagues
That's
would
right.
be happy to do it.
Exactly.
And that work outside the restrictions of the law.
Exactly.
And you know, and in a good way. Like that's magnet.
$20.
I get that. Drew, mom's kidnapped. You make $8 million a year. What are you putting up for a reward?
$8,100,000.
Boom. It's crazy.
Brent, can I borrow $100?
What's that Mel Gibson movie where he says somebody's kidnapped and he's like, this was going to be your ransom and now it's going to be a reward, and he just pushes it forward and it's like a couple $1 million.
It's called, the movie's called Ransom.
Is it? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I think Savannah Guthrie should put a bunch of money into a reward for the guy, or like a bounty on the guy's head. Whoever it is needs a bounty on his head and not reward for information. We need a reward for a head.
And I love, Trump weighed in on it, and Trump's like, hey, this guy's getting the death penalty. I don't think he can force that, but it's just like it's drawn national attention. And I hate to say it, and everyone's watched enough documentaries to know, like, when it's not solved in the first 24, not a good sign. 48, not looking any better. 72, it's bad. The chances of any sort of happy ending or even being found, I feel like at this point.
At this point, you have to figure. She had medical needs. She had medication she's supposed to be taking that she ran. She didn't even have with her. She was supposedly going to die 2 weeks ago. So the chances of them finding her alive are nil.
Yeah, and I most people have. I saw the video of the kidnapper in the doorbell camera, and he doesn't look like someone who's got it really all put together. So I don't really think.
Yeah, how does he move to you? Does he? I didn't watch the video. I just saw the stills. But does he move like somebody who has some training or no?
He's over there like grabbing random things and trying to put it. He's got.
Where's a backpack? Come on. What would you say? Like tier 87 operator?
But hey, we can make fun of this guy all we want. He has evaded all levels of
for a long time
of law enforcement, and is still getting away with it right now. So I guess can't make fun of him too much.
I love how TMZ's getting all the publicity on this too.
Like the tips?
Yeah, the tips and all that, they're going to TMZ.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe TMZ is the one they need to be investigating.
Yeah. TMZ needs they need a bump. Yeah, for sure. So, well, I was hoping to at some point come on here and be like, we found Grandmama, but I'm telling you, as the weeks go by, I don't think this one has a happy ending, or in a weird way, no ending at all. Because if we don't know exactly what they know, but it doesn't seem like they have a whole lot to go off of right now. So there it is. I've caught you up, so you don't have to watch TMZ. In fact, before we get into some videos, I want to pause that part. I want to talk to you about the what it is you've been talking about that we just talked about, what you wrote a whole book about, and that is about. And again, I'll tell you, this is live. It's a little more livelier, and we can cut right to the chase. Veterans being grifters, and maliciously being fraudulent towards the system, and just getting as much as they can and lying to do it, and they're getting away with it, and it seems like nobody cares. Would that be
that is a high-speed pass that I think is slightly off the objective. I mean, my main mission here in this book, Wounding Warriors, available on Amazon, available on Audible. I don't make any money off it. Don't worry.
That's part of
Jeff
it. Jeff
Bezos keeps all the money.
It's part of it.
It is part of it. So there are some people in the veterans community who are exaggerating their disabilities for the purpose of getting extra money.
How dare you?
But there are also people who are trapped in the system, believing the lie that because they got hurt in service, because they got scuffed up in some way or even maimed, like so many guys have, that moment has to define them. And so they end up going from these, I always talk about it from when we were civilians, before military service, we were productive plows, right? We were students, we were, shopkeepers, whatever. And then we went in military service and they beat us into a sword. And what happens with those swords after they leave military service is way too often those people believe the lie that because the sword is a little dented that it can never be reformed back into a productive plow. And the system traps people in this negative identity and traps them in this looking over their shoulder at their past and their worst day instead of looking forward to a positive day. And so my hope in writing the book is to shine light on a system that's corrupting a lot of people, that's hurting a lot of people, and also give some prescriptions to make the system better.
All right, my intro was a little clickbaity. I'll give you that.
That's perfect. It's fine. It's fine.
But I stand by it. But that's probably a better holistic description as well. And I completely agree with you. Some people are maliciously doing it, and some people are. Again, I like I said in the recording, I kind of hate using this terminology, but this one fits. They are a product of their environment.
That's right. That's right.
But there's still guys like me and you that were in the same environment and didn't adhere to it. So I hate to sound a little harsh, but I still can't give you a complete pass at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I see people who are grifting, and there's this guy that we talk about in the book who lied about being basically paralyzed from the navel down, named Justin Perez Gorda, and he scammed Homes for Our Troops out of like a $500,000 sort of adaptive house outside of Dripping Springs, Texas, which is near Austin. And eventually he was arrested and sent to jail for something else, I think, is the story I remember. But anyway, so there are people who will literally lie for the VA money, for the free house, for the whatever. And then there are also people who will lie just so they look even cooler than they already are, including, I mean, you've done quite a lot of stories about people who are, right? So people who already have things that they can lean on that are really positive things that they can be praised for, but they want to be praised extra. They want to say, "Oh, I was wounded in action. Oh, I'm a disabled veteran. You need to respect me because I'm a disabled veteran." It's like, no, man, look for something positive. Don't just look over your shoulder at negative past things.
No, I don't know how true that is, what you just said, because usually if someone has a cool story, there's no real need to lie about it. I don't, just to, I don't know, make up an example. I don't see a former UFC fighter in Green Beret ever writing a book and making up lies about his missions and valor medals. I don't. That's a hard one to swallow. I couldn't imagine a Navy SEAL being on the UBL raid and then saying that he did something that another guy did. It's just not the. I'm listening to you. I'm just having a hard time agreeing with it.
I'd love to know what the motive is for some of that stuff. With the.
It's never enough. That's why it's never enough.
Is it just narcissism?
It's narcissism. It's a little bit never enough. But hey, in a weird way, again, not giving these guys a pass, but I'm saying I somewhat understand it. And let me give you an example. Anyone who makes $50,000. Not a lot. They're probably scraping by. If I told them I'll give you this job for $100,000, they will think that they're like, that's all I ever needed. That's all they ever needed. It will take them anywhere from months to a year, and I assure you, $100,000 would no longer be enough for that person.
Yeah.
And you can continue up that, and there's essentially no stopping point to it. It's why we have billionaires, because hundreds of millions wasn't enough. So that's really what it is. And if you'd have stopped and told them like beforehand, hey, is being a Green Beret enough? They'd have said yes, until they were a Green Beret, and then they wanted to be, a war hero and a Green. And let me tell you, even when they had that, it wouldn't have been enough. It never is for those types of people. I'm not saying like really for everyone, but for those types of people, it's never enough.
Yeah. I think that might be right.
Here's a story we didn't touch on that is that one story you just told is a little more fringe.
It's just over the top.
Yeah,
it's totally over the top.
It's over the top, and I don't want people to hear that story and be like, "Well, that's a one-off." Here's a more common one. I'm not saying it's the norm, but here's a more common one, and the story of the guy who was just around other wounded veterans.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and tell that story.
Yeah. So the problem is that post-traumatic stress disorder became a disability or something that was recognized by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, DSM, in like 1982, 1981, in that kind of time frame. And at the time, it required a specific stressor where something specifically happened to you and you had a specific, relatively small set of symptoms. It was really designed for guys who came back from Vietnam, who had, really, really traumatic experiences personally. Either they witnessed something or they did something or they just really harmed them and they were totally unable to reintegrate into society. And what's happened over successive generations and under a lot of political pressure is that the definition and the symptoms of it have expanded so much that virtually anything can get you a PTSD diagnosis, and therefore from the VA at least, a PTSD payment. So, for example, there's somebody we talk about in the book, and we've got the citations for it and all of that stuff, who literally was he got hurt in training, which is fine, no problem, right. And he got put in a soldier holding unit kind of thing where he had to be seeking medical treatment on a day-to-day basis, whatever physical ailment he had. And he had to sit with, like in the lobby of the place where he was, he had to sit with wounded soldiers because they were also waiting for treatment. And he heard their stories, and their stories of being wounded traumatized him so much that he began to be fearful that something bad was going to happen to him someday. And then he went and got a PTSD diagnosis, and now he's getting compensated for PTSD. It's here's another, and we've got all the evidence for it. It's a true story. Here's another one. There's another story that we have about a guy who his romantic partner, a wife or girlfriend, had been raped prior to him knowing her and having nothing to do with military service. So she was a civilian who experienced a sexual assault, and it was a horrible one. She told him about this story in detail while he was on active duty. And that story traumatized him so much that he got PTSD diagnosis for her sexual assault. That is a true story. I've got the paperwork for it, and it's like, if the definitions are that broad, here's the loser. Like, the loser is the taxpayer, of course. The loser is all those people, but the loser is also the veteran with real mental health struggles, who calls the VA and says, hey, I have real mental health struggles. I need to come get an appointment, and has to wait 90 or 120 or 180 days to get an appointment because there's all these people in front of them who are just filing claims so that they can get paid for it.
That's a great point.
That's the real loser.
Because we exactly, and we have to stop to thinking about this, because the American public wants to give us the benefit of the doubt, and the only people who can call this out is fellow veterans.
Right.
And there's the American public loves veterans so much, and I'm not looking to tear down veterans. I'm looking to separate the good ones and let's put them on the pedestal that they earned. and let's separate the bad ones. Because if we don't do this, eventually they're going to bring the whole system down to negative. And we have to make sure that doesn't happen. But they look at it as kind of like a victimless crime. And they're like, well, I mean, it doesn't really hurt anyone. We know it's kind of happening, but it's not a big deal.
The government wastes a lot of money anyway. Who cares?
Right. It absolutely does. Craig, what do you got?
You know, and it just reminds me, earlier you talked about being a product to a certain degree of their environment. And if you think about it, think about the social welfare system in general. How many people do you know who are getting these benefits because they're gaming the system? And for every one of them, there's 5 to 10 people that you hear about who are really in need.
Right.
And because they don't know how to game the system, they don't know how to work the system, they're not getting even the very basic things that they need. And that's where I think the real tragedy is. And it's, and I think kind of like you said, the thing is that no matter what segment of society is, and including veterans, you have those who are there, who are honorable, who deserve, everything that we can do for them. But then you also have some people who are going to game the system, and the sad part is that they're going to utilize. Some of those folks are going to utilize that in order to get over instead of get ahead or get what they need.
Right. Yeah. And it doesn't just have like what we were talking about, and I hope people will go back and watch our full show together. But the other problem is that it's not just the taxpayers losing in the veteran system. It's also a national security threat because the people who would otherwise encourage their children, or the people they mentor, or the people they coach, or the students at their school or whatever to join military service and to help defend the country, those people aren't going to do it if they think that by going in the military, by definition, you're going to be raped, you're going to be poisoned, you're going to be maimed, you're going to be you're going to come out broken. And the way that the system is stacked right now, you can't drive down the highway without seeing a disabled American veterans poster with a guy with no legs, and it's like, hang on a second, that guy probably deserves a lot, but not every veteran is going to end up looking like that. There's only, in the entire war on terror, there were about 2,500 major limb amputations total, or people with major limb amputations, some with multiple, right? But every year, several 100,000 people begin receiving disability compensation. So when you're looking at the VA disability system, you might think that a disabled veteran is, a guy I know named Travis Mills, quadruple amputee, right? Like you might think of him, but really you're talking about the guy you're talking about the guy with tinnitus, who, tinnitus and sleep apnea. And it's like, stop, dude. Those aren't disabilities. Those are conditions.
Right.
And B, like you are taking a label for yourself, which is probably more appropriate for people who have sacrificed more than you.
So, do you know the numbers off the top of your head? I believe you do. How many people were injured in the GWAT? Do you have any injuries? Do you know those numbers?
Injured different than wounded.
Wounded. Explain that.
So if you fall off a truck, even if you say you're downrange or something, and you fall off a truck, or there's a vehicle accident or something, you might be injured, but you're not. But that's not wounded, right?
Yeah.
But but a lot of people, non-battle injuries are very common. Training injuries. Somebody gets their hand blown off by a flashbang, or they get more commonly orthopedic injuries, leg injuries, or whatever. A parachute jump that goes wrong.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But what you were asking about is the number of people who are wounded, and the answer is there are about 50,000 total people who were wounded and received Purple Hearts.
Okay.
In the entire war on terror. Okay. Every year, there are about 200,000 people who go on the VA disability system.
Not just 200,000, an additional 200,000 every year.
Yes.
Off of 50,000 wounded.
In 20 some years of war.
Right. And I'm just being honest. Most wounded people will deserve whatever it is they get. In fact, I'd argue if you were truly wounded, I'd whatever you're getting, I'd up it. Like that. That's what it sounds like. We're dogging, the system and VA or veterans. Well, we kind of are dogging the system, and we kind of are dogging some veterans. Some veterans, but it's not out of. I speak for myself, but we've already talked about this. But please speak up if I say something that you don't agree with, we'll debate it out. But it's not out of necessarily hatred towards them. It's really out of a love for the ones who deserve it. That's why those guys make me mad.
That's nicely
because
nicely said.
I love the guys who bled for this country, who had the worst of worst days. And I love them so much. I want them to have everything they could ever want or need. But if we have all these people on the tit, then they're not going to get what they need. I'd actually cut these people off and I'd increase whatever it is that they get. So it's not just anti them as much as it is pro the other group.
Yeah. I've got a little side quest I'm working on right now, and I'm going to spare some of the details, but about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, there was this ridiculously courageous medic on the battlefield in Afghanistan, and he got blown up a couple of times while he was treating people in an active minefield, and he kept going to new people and kept treating them, even though a new litter team would come and they'd get mangled, and he'd go treat those mangled guys, and then a new litter team would come and they'd get mangled. And this went on for like an hour and a half, and they ended up getting the second highest award for valor, the Distinguished Service Cross.
Nice.
And when I met him, I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what, this is a Medal of Honor action. This needs to be a Medal of Honor. And so a couple of months ago I called him. And I told him that I was going to try to do this, and I'm actively working on it. So I'm sort of being deliberately vague on the details because I don't want to poison the well here. But and I'll tell you offline. But anyway, and I called him and I said, "Hey man, like I want to do this for you." And he goes, "But sir, I was just doing my job." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, man!" And you read this citation, and you're like, I've seen some pretty horrible combat, and obviously bear some of the cost in my body for that. Yeah. But like I'm reading this and I get chills. Yeah. And that's the kind of story we should be celebrating. We should be celebrating our valorous heroes. We should be taking care of our severely wounded, and we should be creating a better environment for all veterans, not pretending like just by military service causes you to be broken forever.
And I get it. It's not that easy. Here's the dilemma that we have. Good guys don't want a handout, and they don't want your help. Mm-hmm. And then all the grifters will take every handout you give and then want more. And it's just like, how do you make them receive something that they don't want? Mm-hmm. But guess what? That's fine. If I just want it to be available to them. I want it to be available to them. But that goes back to something else we talked about is, guess what? If they don't want it and they're making it, that's part of their identity. They're being a provider. They guess what? That's a good thing to not need anything from the system and be a man that provides for himself and his family, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, for 100,000 years we've said that the essence of a man essentially is leading a family unit, providing for that family unit, protecting it, and taking it into the next generation, raising sons who will then lead their own family units. And somehow we've gotten now as veterans into a place where so many people are like, oh, government, take care of me. And they want government to be your mom. And government is not your mom. Your mom is your mom, but government is not your mom. Stop acting like it is.
You're talking about an era, though, when we knew what a man and a woman were.
Fair. And I think you have a video about that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Hey, just go to some super chats real quick before we get too far behind.
All right, let's see the first super chat of the night. Iceman says, Daniel, did you use a piss bottle or did you have a piss tumbler since you had officer privileges?
That's really
Stay
funny.
fresh like cow milk, brother.
That's really funny.
We got
gross.
Gross.
Iceman, thanks for the money for the podcast, but you were gross.
Yeah. I didn't even think about a piss tumbler. That's some officer stuff.
I mean, like a
Yeti,
Yeti, like a Yeti that says like piss Yeti.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yuck. That's an accident waiting to happen. Yeah. What else, Drew?
Just another says, I was going to pay a late fee for being 15 late, but we'll call it a fine for leaving my Delta tricolor at the office. You get a double fine for only having one.
For not putting them in different locations.
Yeah. Man, I got cigars in my truck and my house. I got them.
For sure.
Every once in a while, I'll find a surprise cigar that I was like, oh, I didn't know I put a cigar here. This is great. Let's see. Electric Carbon says, sheesh, is that a piss bottle in your pocket, or are you just happy to see us all? I love it. I love it.
It's growed legs.
Can you skip to the $49.99 guy?
Growed legs.
Y'all need Jesus.
They need Jesus in their life.
Let's see. I was gonna. Let's see. For the ransom. LOL. Crafted
For the
tees, North Carolina. All right.
I meant reward. Dang it.
For the reward. I love it.
For the ransom.
Thanks for the love, man. Thanks for the love. Fire Dog says, we have 3 Green Beret in our family. My grandfather was in World War I. I'm so thankful for military.
That's awesome.
Love it, Fire Dog.
Heck, yes, us too.
The Prussian, our man. He bought a signed humidor from us.
That's a lot of money.
He did.
Nice.
He did. Yeah. He's giving us some great love tonight. All right, man. He says, I have a VA disability for anxiety, failure to adapt. Not because I can't handle it, but because I have to deal with it. Does that make sense? By the way, HPTRT has helped me with that as well. In fact, I have been able to lower my meds. My doc is elated. Night Stalkers by Megadeth for the outro.
1 second before we move on, we're gonna talk about that for just a second. And again, it's not that it's not a hit on anyone. This is the system that we're in, and we're saying, hey, the system isn't right. But rather than we have to. And then we have to point out what's not right with it, okay? And this is where people are going to get upset because they think we're coming after their money. Well, we have to do another kind of like focus on it to say, well, let's take an unemotional approach at it. Let me give a good example. And I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think you'll know where I'm going with this. A lot of people love rules when it applies to someone else, but then as soon as it applies to them, like, oh, hold on, well, that one now affects me. Well, that's just not how it works. It's either right or it's wrong. So what I want to talk about on this is something that you've talked about before, which is at the end of the day, if you have something that's wrong with you and it's treatable and can be treated and brought back down. So he's handling it. When he's handling it at his worst, maybe he does deserve some compensation for it. But if we can get it down to acceptable levels, we're just saying just because something was wrong once doesn't mean you get paid the rest of your life. If it's not getting better, then let's look. Then we're doing something wrong as a society and as a VA.
Absolutely.
You're saying it's just untreatable.
Yeah. So think about it this way. So imagine, you've got a graph here, right? And throughout somebody's life course, they're achieving their potential. So it's like a line like this. Let's say they enter the military and something bad happens, and now their life course is like this. It's a little bit lower line. Their normal life course would have been here, and now their life course is right here, right? Mm-hmm. So we should be focusing all of our efforts on closing the gap between where you are now and where you would have been but for military service. Okay, so hypothetically, somebody goes into military service and they get their leg blown off below the knee. Okay, well, that's a serious injury. We ought to deal with it. We ought to give you the best prosthetic care we can. We ought to give you the best treatment and the best physical therapy and everything. And the purpose of that is to close the gap, right? Between where you are now and where you would have been but for that military service. And I think with mental health disorders, one of the things that, I was telling you, I did this podcast a couple months ago with these guys who are like making money off of helping veterans get their disability claims approved and stuff like that. And so their personal financial incentives are very much in the direction of maximizing this disability stuff. But they kind of laughed at my concept that PTSD is A, treatable, and that B, we should expect people to have positive outcomes. But what you discover when you read the book, when you read Wounding Warriors or listen to it on Audible, is that for every other context, sexual assault victims, hurricane victims, people who've been, had loved ones murdered in front of them, for all other people, PTSD treatment rates and cure rates are very, very high with proper treatment, with proper counseling, and sometimes with a little medication to help get over the last little hurdle.
Right.
People are getting really, really positive results. But veterans almost never ever improve. They just don't get better with treatment. And the reason they don't get better with treatment is because they're paid to stay sick. They're paid to stay sick. The system pays them to stay sick. And so I cheer when I see a guy saying, "Hey, with a little TRT and the counseling I've been going to, I'm getting better." The question is it possible to design a system that can take that guy and now that he's better or now that he's getting better, begin to wean him off of that disability and get him into a better life condition where he has a better job and better employment and job and employment, same thing, obviously. But can we design systems that help people have a better life separate from waiting on a check from the government? Because that's a known negative.
And I'm just being honest and transparent here. The system has to get better or it will collapse on itself at the rate it's growing. Yeah. And not just this system. And so I'm not just saying, hey, it's just us and no one else. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. Our whole system needs to be revamped if we want any sort of financial health in this country and a future for our kids ever. Social Security has done the same thing that we're talking about. The welfare system has done the same thing that we're talking about. Every single system, hold your surprise face for a second, guys and audience. Every single system the federal government has been a part of has been bloated and screwed up by our politicians, promising more, and our selfish citizens saying, yes, give me, I'll vote for you. That's an oversimplification, but I'm not completely wrong either.
No, I think you're totally right. Yeah. And just really super quick. So what we always say is, as I have a PhD in public policy, and what we always say in public policy is that rules are static, but human behavior is dynamic. So they set up a rule, and people will find a way to work around the rule to their own advantage.
That's human nature.
It's human nature. Yeah. And it's in every system.
A great book to read is called The High Cost of Good Intentions. And it actually starts off from the very beginning of the welfare system. Like originally, the idea was, the first social welfare system was set up to help widows of veterans, of soldiers who died in war, right? And this book goes through and it talks about the expansion of those benefits, the expansion of the program, who was eligible, and then eventually it got to where it wasn't just the widows of and children of veterans. It got to the point where it wasn't just widows and children. It got to the point, and every single time you saw it, once again, it was good intentions, expanding the quote unquote social safety net away from more like the community-based providing these resources and this help and aid, the people who know them, the people who recognize, is this someone who needs a hand up or is looking for a handout? Yeah. And to be able to provide those resources and then watch it. And the sad part is it's not just the Democrats. It's not just the Republicans. And they built this system that not only is now costing trillions of dollars, but it's not really meeting the needs of the people who are really in need within the system.
Right. And it goes back to something we did talk about on the recording, but I'm glad you brought that point up. Good intentions. And there's almost everything at the beginning was good intentions, and there's still good intentions for some programs, to this day, but not all. And not all people feeding from the system are grifters and taking advantage of it. But so again, this isn't just like one blanket statement that everything's bad, but not everything's good either.
There is the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
With good intentions. Yeah, absolutely. You got anything else to add on that?
No, but I'm loving some of these live chats. These are great. These are great, dude.
It's going to get good. We got Frank Tibbet. He says, do Delta support guys go through the same training as operators?
Absolutely not, or else we wouldn't have any support people. And that's not a hit on support people. That's just the truth. Yeah. They go through some sort of a selection process, much lower, because we don't need them to meet the same rigors. And they do go through some sort of a training, but not the same, because they're not required to do the same rigorous tactical things. But I'll tell you this: whatever job they're doing, if they're the unit, they're the best our country has to offer at that job, and they're amazing people.
James Driscoll says, "What's up from Philly? You guys going to do a live around here Would love it. TK drinks Temu Ronald McDonald's piss bottles. Love you guys.
Allegedly.
Love it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's what we've been told. James Driscoll back in again says also outro 3 Shades of Black, Hank 3
That's such a good one.
for $22. Just another 11 Bravo. Thank you for the love, man. Really appreciate it. He says, I've so needed to hear other veterans talk this way. I try to talk to other veterans like this, and I'm the a-hole.
Yeah.
I'm disability retired, went to college, worked BS jobs, and forged my own path, yet watched others flourish off the VA.
Man, that's got to be the most frustrating part when you know you're doing the right things. And hey, it's the cost of being a moral man, and you know you could have done that, and you see them doing better than you. It's got to hurt. But I believe this. The shortcut always benefits the other people quicker. And I assure you, because of the way they are, they're shown who they are because of what they're doing. They aren't going to go very far. The long road, the hard path that you chose, I guarantee you, in the end, you will be better off because of the type of person you are. Guarantee it.
We've got Electric Carbon back in again. He said, had my hip rebuilt when I was 24 on a bad jump. Yeah. 10% for the hip, 30% for saying I was bummed that my career ended. Total BS. Ratings are silly.
Ratings are silly. Let's get it's a perfect time. Let's go to the ratings talk.
Oh my gosh.
Just I know every one of these topics. Guys like us can talk an hour about each particular one.
Go off on it. Yeah. So the problem is there's no such thing as a veterans disability system. There was an initial attempt right after World War I to create a system, and it was based on an industrial economy where if you lose a leg or something, then you were really disadvantaged being a farmer or a coal miner or something. That's going to be a real problem for a coal miner. But over the years, a whole lot of political pressure has caused a whole lot of things to get added to the schedule. It's called the rating schedule, or the VA schedule for rating disabilities, the VASRD. The rating schedule. So anyway, a lot of things have been added to the rating schedule that are either lifestyle conditions. So for example, I have a friend whose father is like 5'6", 330 pounds, who used to be a fighter pilot in Vietnam. And he swears that his his adult onset diabetes is not due to his weight or his habit of eating a big bowl of ice cream every night, but really it's the fault of the fact that he flew over areas that had Agent Orange. It's like, come on, man. Like that is a lifestyle condition, and it's a lifestyle problem. You can fix it. So lifestyle conditions of aging, like none of us in here are young men, and all of our knees are going to be sore. All of our shoulders are going to be sore. And it's like, are conditions of aging something that we ought to be taking money from our fellow citizens for? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
Genetic conditions are in there. So I told you earlier about vitiligo, which is like when your skin can lose pigmentation. The VA calls that a disability, and it's like, A, it's not a disability because it's just people all look different, and that's cool, and I'm glad people look different from each other. And B, what connection does that have to military service? How is that the fault of the military? Like, what did the military do to cause vitiligo? And then you get some stuff in the system itself that are truly injuries that don't make any sense at all. So, for example, I have a small scar on my lip right here from when I got blown up. They had the breathing apparatus was wrapped really tight around my lips. And as my head swelled up, they forgot to loosen it. And so I ended up with a crush injury to my lip. My whole lip got crushed. Really? Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I had to have a couple of surgeries to fix it. And it still looks like I had a cleft lip when I was a kid or something. Yeah. But anyway, this is a combat injury. And that little thing right there, the VA would call that a 30% disability because it's on my face and because it's a scar. And it's like, you know what? It's not a disability, dude. It's character, right? Like chicks take scars. Stop it.
Stop it.
So below knee amputation is a 40% disability.
Okay.
Having to use a CPAP to sleep is a 50% disability. Like, come on, it's ridiculous.
50%. We talked about that. I had
More than a below knee amputation.
I had my arm shot in half and a grenade blew up my face, and I got 30% for what happened to me that night. And sleep apnea gave me 50. And again, I don't make the rules, but I'm sitting here to tell you, now that you learn a little bit more, and you're like, this isn't right. I went through the sleep study. They said you have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. And when I say awesome, this is what I mean by this. I have, like most men that went through what I went through, have problems sleeping. It has to do with TBIs and a lot of things. I said good because I didn't care about the rating. What I really wanted
Was the treatment.
Right. I was like, hey, I can now sleep like a normal man and wake up like recovered. Here's a CPAP. And I was like, great. And I know this maybe isn't the norm, but I'm just being transparent. I wore that CPAP for months. I was so excited about that CPAP because I thought I was going to live a normal life. And for whatever reason, that CPAP
It didn't help you?
Never helped me. I've gone through CPAPs. I've gone through those mouth guards that adjust your lower lip. I've gone through nasal things. Doesn't matter what I do. And I'm going on a rant on this, but it's not that I don't sleep. I have a very different problem.
Yeah.
I'll sleep for 9 or 10 hours, and I'll
wake up tired.
And I will wake up like in a patrol base in Ranger School, foggy mind, like I could stay in bed for another 12 hours. I just get no REM for whatever reason, and that's what the sleep study shows.
Yeah. Well,
like you get no REM and you have very, very low oxygen.
Yeah. Another problem with the way the VA is structured is that in order to get medical help for something, to get treatment for a condition, you have to either be 100% disabled for a bunch of other things, and then you can get treatment for everything, or you have to have a disability rating for that condition. So what happens is a lot of guys go to get a disability rating for something that they know isn't a real disability, but it is something they want to get taken care of. It's a medical condition that needs treatment and that will be amenable to treatment, but they have to go through the disability door to get to the treatment. And so they get trapped in this welfare system when all they really wanted was the healthcare to make them better.
Yeah.
So Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong. The way I understand the rating system is to be, it has everything to do with getting back into the workforce, being able, well, not everything, but a lot to do with getting back into the workforce. So if a person loses, let's say like the hip replacement thing. So if he's able to get a hip replacement, now he's able to function, or according to them, he's able to work and function without any problem. Same thing with maybe a lost appendage or something like that. You get a prosthetic and so now you're able to function. But a person with a mental situation or even sleep apnea, which really can't be always fixed, that's going to hinder their ability to go to work every day. I don't know, something that's what I've been told.
Yeah, it's sort of right. So the VA rating system under Title 38 U.S. Code is designed to pay for the average loss of earnings that a veteran would expect to have based on a condition which either began in service or was worsened by military service. But it's average loss of earnings, not particular to you loss of earnings. So an example I use in that regard is I'm a hip level amputee from an IED strike in outside of Ramadi in 2005. And just the hip level amputation is a 90% disability all by itself. But for me, after I got blown up, I went to grad school and I became a college professor, and now I own a government contracting company. And so my income hasn't actually been affected by my amputation at all.
Right.
You know, it's from an income perspective only, it's fine. But the way the VA rates it is based on the average loss of earnings that a hip level amputee anywhere in society would have based on that condition.
Right.
So it's not a particularized to the individual. There's no taking into account, education level, other like it's all sort of this mushy average thing rather than being particular to the person.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
Just another 11. Bravo. He's back in. He's the one that left the cigars back at the office. He says,
right,
for the record, I've got 95 FRCC cigars at my shop and office.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Which makes it even worse that you didn't have any.
I hope they're not getting dried out.
Spread that love
That's
around,
right.
brother.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Get yourself a caddy. Ball Zach, I see what you did there. Love the show. I'm active duty Navy, and my formal LPO E6 had a Muti page. What is that? I'm sorry, guys. List of instructions.
A multi-page list of
Multi-page
instructions on how to get 100% disability.
On how to get 100% disability. I knew then as an E4 that I was wrong, but
That it was wrong.
It's institutionalized now.
That's 100% right. It's totally institutionalized. And we were talking, and I hope that you guys can come back and watch the full show.
Yep.
That he and I did when it comes out, probably a couple days, whatever. But we talked about how there's some kind of societal shift that's happened in the last probably 30 years, basically, where Vietnam veterans were very reluctant to go to the VA. Korean War veterans almost never did. You know, the only World War II guys who came to the VA were like, guys who were, really shot up. But now, like the average GWAT veteran claims, it fluctuates a little bit, but like 8 different conditions that are quote unquote disabling. And it's like, what happened where people stopped thinking of the government as a place of last resort or as a safety net, and now they think about it like it's their rich uncle?
Here's a problem that it can't be ignored. Like I said, we're just having an honest conversation about this. What happened? And I have an answer, but I'll ask you first, and we'll go around the room. What happened? We'll take from World War II to current. Essentially, every major combat conflict that we've had since then has been lesser than the one before it. So Vietnam wasn't as bad as World War II. It just wasn't. I'm not saying it was good, but it was not World War II.
Yeah.
And then the GWAT was not Vietnam. It just wasn't. It just wasn't.
There was some very sharp fighting in very small pockets. The Korangal Valley, or some of what you guys did in Syria, or Ramadi, Fallujah, or the invasion itself. Those are big things.
But what we're talking about is as a whole. Yeah. As a whole, 250,000 people died, and then 60,000 people died, and then we're down to like 7,000 people died. But yet every incursion, if you will, is getting less violent and deadly as a whole. Yet what's happening to our brave men coming back from that is coming back exponentially larger as having problems.
Well, yeah.
Like if we flip
that's
that,
why I say the system. That's why the subtitle of the book is how the system is, how bad policy is making veterans sicker and poorer. It's making people see themselves as their sickest selves, rather than striving for improvement, and that's a lifelong journey, dude. Like I just I do jujitsu, and the reason I do it is because I want to be strong for my sons. I want to be strong for my wife, and it's a lifelong thing. I'm probably I'm going to be a permanent blue belt, sadly, but because I'm never going to be a purple. But anyway, like you just have to keep grinding, and the system is trapping people in this. It's freezing them like bugs in amber. They're just stuck there, and they're thinking of themselves, oh, I'm a veteran. Okay, well, what else? What have you done for me lately? What have you done for your country or your community or family lately? Okay, cool. You were in Ramadi 21 years ago. What are you doing right now to make the world a better place?
You made a good analogy of that. Is what are you doing now? Essentially, is the equivalent of, did you? I'm stealing this from you. Did you have a high school letter jacket?
I did, yeah, exactly. You stole that from the Andy Stump, right?
Yeah. Were you proud of that thing? It was your identity.
Was at the time.
Yeah, it was your identity.
Yeah, of course.
You still wear that thing?
No.
Right. And I'm not downplaying service, because service is way more important than what high school you went to. It's just a fun analogy. But you're in your service in your 20s and 30s, and your whole life, it's a little bit of a snippet. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of runway left in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s to be something else than that. Be proud of that. Don't ever forget it. But it can't be you your whole time. Craig, what do you think about that line of violent, if you will, violent interaction with the enemy getting smaller as a whole, less deaths, less casualties, yet the reporting of people needing help being on the exact opposite end of that spectrum? Why?
I think a lot of it has to do with just kind of the change in how wars are fought now. And what really has happened is battles right now are more and more being fought in the media, right? If you look at the Vietnam War was the first war that was literally fought with the media, literally right there, and where they were showing, I mean, technically we won the Vietnam War, but we lost it in the media. Right, and you look at what's going on. I mean, if we were to take a look at every single engagement that we've had since, no matter how successful our soldiers are on the battlefield, the media has found a way to undermine it, and not just undermine it, but undermine the importance of it, undermine the importance of the sacrifice that people are making. When they're going and they're fighting in those battles. And then you add that together with the fact that we have a society now that is promoting a victimhood mentality. Like you were talking about how they're making people be their weakest selves. And the reality is, and I think you know this, courage is not the absence of fear, but it's doing the right thing even when you have fear, right?
Yep.
It's not that bad things are not going to happen to us, but it's not that we're not going to get knocked down, but it's how are we going to get back up? Who's teaching that these days? Where are people learning that very basic concept? Our parents' generation, that's what their parents taught them. That's how they raised them. That was something that was vitally important. The importance of being a man, of being honorable, of honoring your country and honoring your family and honoring your God. All of that was important. Now it's more just kind of, well, how do you feel? Do you feel a certain way?
Psychology.
That's a great point. We have shifted as a culture to men being proud of not needing any help and not having any ailments, because that's what it's
from that back in the day, or now people are proud of that.
And no, in general, back in the day, back in the day. Just take that as general as you want to, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I lay it out. Men didn't talk about their ailments because if you talk about what's wrong, then and you can't handle it, you're perceived as a weak man. If you're saying like, "Oh, this hurts," then most men be like, "Yeah, things on my body hurt too. Shut up." Like one, and guess what? People weren't out there just offing themselves because people were mean to them. It was a culture of suck it up. Everyone has problems. Be a strong man and move on. Now we have this culture of, oh, you don't have anything wrong with you. Then what's wrong with you? Like people want to have ADHD. People want to have autism. People want to have something, and now they wear that as a badge of honor rather than being the strong provider as a man that can deal with anything used to be their identity.
Brent, I'd like to dovetail on that, and I'd like to say something very offensive, if you don't mind.
I don't think anybody here minds.
So, what type of person in the world, in y'all's men's experience, like to complain about things they don't like in life and they're always unhappy?
What type of men?
What kind of person? Usually in our world.
Well, the people who seem to be the most unhappiest, I hate to get political about it,
just get sexist. Get sexist real quick.
Oh, get sexist?
Yeah.
Sure, women.
Women always complaining about what they don't like. Okay, that's typically in general. I'm not saying that about every woman.
Because they're emotional creatures, and they're
emotional creatures. They're nurturers. They're geared to say, what's wrong? How can I
to focus on feelings?
That's it. Right. All right. I think we have a generation, and we've probably had two generations by now, raised by less fathers. We've got less men raising men than we've ever had in our generations previous, especially the World War II area and the Vietnam era. And it goes further than just having a dad. Even in our later generations, even the fathers that are present doesn't mean that they are investing, doesn't mean that they're teaching, doesn't mean that they're passing the baton to the next generation. So that's what I chalk it up to. That's my personal opinion. I think we have less men raising men to be men in the modern day.
I don't think you're wrong.
I want to say something about that. So, I don't want people to think that you're running down women because, with your pastoral training and all that, we know that God designed men and women differently. They're equal in God's eyes, but they're for different purposes. Men and women are different things
100%.
and they're designed for different tools. My wife and I, we joke around, same team, different positions. That's right.
Perfect.
Right. Not everyone can be the quarterback.
I don't have a clue how she does the groceries, and she doesn't have a clue how much we pay in the mortgage because we're on the same team, but we're on different positions. But
Right.
in a good marriage, in a solid marriage, and we've been married almost 27 years. It's awesome. It's been so great. The wife can and does step up when the husband is weak and broken. So when I was hurt, one of the very early conversations that my wife, and this was so important to my ability to be who I am today. It was a critical moment what she did. She came to me and she said, "Hey, Daniel, you're very sick. You're obviously very wounded. You're mangled. I'm going to take care of everything. I've got it. I'm going to take care of our taxes. I'm going to take care of our kid. I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of everything. But," she said, "the moment you are healthy enough to do it, you're in charge because you're the boss of our family.
I love that.
And I expect you to lead our family.
Right.
I'll do it for now, but as soon as you're good enough to do it, you're in charge." And that was that just fed who I am as a man, and it made me into a better man. And that's what a good woman does, is makes her man into a better man. And a good man optimizes his woman by protecting and helping her to.
So true.
Absolutely. I'll add on to
thrive.
that, and it sounds like we're overly and people almost assume because you're pro one thing that means you're anti something else. So I'm very pro manly man, and so that doesn't mean you're pro that you must be anti woman, and that's just to dovetail on that a little bit. That's absolutely not true. Drew's talking about the balance, and things got out of balance. And to think that feminism has skewed this to what makes a great woman is a manly woman. And that's not true.
Yeah, the girl boss thing. You got to be the CEO of a company, whatever. And it's like,
that's absolutely not true.
are women happier now than they've ever been before, or less happy? Less, clearly. And are men happier? No, they're not.
I don't think there's
men are offing
anything more
themselves.
to be, if I want to use the word, maybe glorified than what females do. Is they can make a human
3D print a
They can
person.
3D print a person
cool.
in their body and
That's
give
really cool.
birth. That's the most amazing thing in the world. And what they do for raising the kids is something. It's one of those things but it's the same thing. We shouldn't have only dads raising kids because it will then the balance isn't there. They'll come out too far one way. We can't have women raising kids either. It's the same thing can happen.
But
we have to have them both.
You have a system right now, though, that has things completely out of whack. I've been on a school board for 21 years, and I've watched as the educational system has become more and more feminized. And that's not a bad thing in that we'd like to see, it's good to have women in education. But the problem is that in education, for example, and in society, everything that is inherently masculine, aggression, competitiveness, physical activity is considered bad, and they work to try and decrease it.
That's true.
Everything that is feminine is made better. Be more empathetic. Focus more on your feelings, on the feelings of others. And the problem is that it's hurt our young boys. It's made it so that young men today are growing up. They're being told mixed messages. They don't know what is it to be a man, right?
Yeah.
They don't know. And the hard part is that if you raise a young man, a boy, to be a good, strong man, you've got little girls that are being raised to be the head of the house. You got little boys that are being raised to be the head of the house. And so you've got two really strong people. And now they're trying to both be the head. They're both trying to be the head.
Two all-stars don't make a team.
Exactly.
I say it all the time. The all-star team of the NFL will not beat the Super Bowl champs. The Seattle Seahawks will beat an all-star team. because they're not a team.
No.
I'd put money on that. All right, what else we got, Drew?
Oh, yeah, let's see. The Press In, back in again. $50. Says the VA approves medical health claims because it can't be quantified.
Yeah.
How many vets have to keep going to the VA to prove they still lost leg? Stupid. The disability has helped. Would give it back when I find employment. Living on inheritance right now.
There you go, and that's right. And this is why I don't want. It just naturally happens, and I'm not picking on you nor whatever. You've been a part of this community the whole time. Is when you start having these conversations, it sounds like because you don't have employment and you're living off of that. That's what disability is for. You haven't found work. You're good. Like this isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't about everybody on the system, but that's like almost the natural.
Yeah, that's the exception to the rule.
That's the natural kickback to be like,
Right.
oh, you. But I'm not this way. Okay, good. Then we weren't talking about you. And it kind of sounds like
that's exactly
that
right.
kind of
That's
sounds like
exactly
a dickish thing. Like
I think that's
I'm
right.
talking to him that way, and I'm not. I'm just kind of making a point.
There's a difference between utilizing the system and abusing the system. And I think what you're talking about is, dealing with people. We need to deal with people who are abusing the system.
Yeah.
And for this gentleman, Prussian, whatever his handle was,
You're right.
I think it's awesome what he said there, as long as he's doing the work to get better on the mental health side. What does that mean? That means touch grass. That means get off the internet. It means work out. It means go to church. It means spend some time on your knees praying to God to give you peace. Like there are things, it means getting your hormones right through, using your sponsor.
It's true.
Right?
But it's true. Yeah.
It's absolutely true. And if you're doing all that work and there's residual disability left, okay, fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
And I get not to, but just to prove your point. Like when I was double digits in testosterone, I mean, I'm telling you, there's just it. I always say it because I lived it. I was not going to be a functional male adult. With double digit testosterone, you just won't be. You won't have the energy. You won't have the focus. You have a hormonal imbalance. You feel like you can't do anything because that's not how God intended your body to be. But once I finally figured that out, got that fixed, now what's your excuse?
Yeah.
Well, now I don't have one, and it's time to get to work.
Yeah.
Got
to do the work.
Yeah.
We're an hour in. You want to go to a break? You want to keep going?
Let's get through a couple more
Let's do
super
it.
chats.
Easy Money says, watching from Australia. Apologies if this has already been brought up. United States Navy Chief Petty Officer Michael Thomas Ernst lost his life in a training accident on this day 3 years ago. Let their remembrance be as lasting as the land they honored. Rock on.
Yeah.
Can we say something just real quick?
Rock on.
Where is he from?
Australia. I know, love them boys.
Whose country do you just make sure we remembered?
United States Navy Chief Petty Officer Michael Thomas Ernst.
An Australian did that for us. How cool is that?
Yeah.
This is cool.
Well, the Aussies fought alongside us in Afghanistan and
Everywhere
in
we've ever
Vietnam,
been.
and they're the best, man.
I know.
Diggers. I love my diggers.
How cool is that? And at the end of the day, it goes back to people want to divide us. And then people can even say this if they want to. They'd be wrong. And they'd be like, well, you're kind of dividing us right now with what you're saying with veterans. That's absolutely not true. I don't believe that this country is divided as they want us to believe, and I will never believe that there's not a path forward to reunite us. And the only way to get better is to purge the things out of a system that aren't right. That's how you get better. Why wouldn't we unite over this? We're all Americans. We should. Anything that's wrong with America, we should unite.
Non super chat, but one of your smart ass buddies here says, "Ever considered a peg leg?
Oh, he saw
a
it.
peg leg like a pirate." Yes, I have actually, and I know that some people have a real problem with them. I don't have a problem with, but Dan Crenshaw is a friend of mine, sort of. We're friendly. Whatever. But anyway, I've joked with him about like maybe we need to like go to Halloween together. And he can be the like we need a parrot and I need a peg leg and I need somebody with an eye patch to be my Halloween buddy. Is my point. He's the only one I know.
That's cool.
Well, so you need a third. You need someone with a hook.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. There's someone with
I know some guys with the hooks.
There
I
you
know
go.
some guys with hooks.
Yeah,
That's a veteran team I'd get behind.
for sure.
All right, we got Jared Rosen says, "Did you leave service the same as you entered?" VA.
No, and I'll tell you the answer a little bit different. I think maybe I know the answer you want, but I just want to put it through a different lens for a second. Of course not, because I entered the service at 20 years old and I left the service at 40 years old. So even there's nothing you can do in life that you enter at 20 years old, you leave at 40 years old, and you're in the same shape and mindset.
You can be broken somewhere.
Yeah.
But you're better in some ways too. I left the service better in some ways than I came in, because when I came in, I was a baby. I was immature. I was foolish. I made poor decisions.
For sure.
I was a kid.
Right. Yes.
And then I left after great training and great experiences and with a band of brothers around me and people that I could count on. And I left with a tribe, and that's really positive. So, so you don't just say, "Oh yeah, the military broke me." No, the military might have broken that part, but this other part, you're better off than you were.
Yeah.
And it's okay to embrace both.
Yeah.
I left with life experiences that no other job would have given me. I left with problem-solving abilities that no other job, I believe, would have given me. I left with a work ethic that I did not have coming into the service, and I left with a sense of pride that when I look back and I'm 80 years old and I'm truly decrepit, I will still hold my head up high knowing what I did in that service. Doesn't mean that's who I am, but like I said, you never have to completely detach from that. I'll always be proud of that service and walk around the rest of my life with a sense of confidence that no one can take from me.
That dude says, "Get a boat." That would be epic. I'm friends.
Your eyesight's amazing.
Only my distance eyesight. My reading glasses are down here. I'm friends with Gary Sinise, who of course was Lieutenant Dan. And, and that scene when he's on the mast of the ship in the storm, his leg amputations. He's like, "Ah, God, I hate you."
Yeah,
that's a hilarious scene. So anyway, whoever that dude is, I should if I could get his email address.
To relive that scene?
It's so good.
You'd like to recreate it?
No,
yeah, we can recreate that.
No, I don't think so.
All we need is a green screen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll have AI do it. You don't have to do anything these
Oh,
days.
dude, you
AI
probably
do
could
it.
take my face and
For sure.
sell AI to do it.
Crafted T
That's
says, while I agree 100% with you guys, we paid over $200,000 in taxes last year. I'd rather my money go to vets regardless than the BS it does. We need to overhaul everything.
Exactly. I appreciate you saying that's kind of why I addressed that, because some people are like, well, I agree. There's other things, but we're also a great nation with a lot of horsepower behind this. Why do we have to pick one thing to fix? Everything that's wrong should be looked at and fixed.
But if we're going to do something last, let it be this.
But if we're gonna,
To his point, though, I mean, our federal government is into a bunch of stuff that they have absolutely no business being in.
Yeah.
And if there's one area where we do need to be in, it's taking care of our veterans.
Yeah.
but here's
Taking care of them in the right way.
Yes,
that
in the right
results
way.
in them having a
Yes.
better life, not in a way that cripples them.
But that's
with,
the other issue.
Cripples them with candy.
right.
Yes.
Here's
A good parent, when the child says, "Hey, can I have a candy bar for dinner?" The good parent says, "No, you may not have a candy bar for dinner. Maybe you can have half a candy bar for dessert, but you don't get a candy bar for dinner."
Now, if you're a grandparent, you say yes.
If a grandparent says yes,
you know what?
We're Uncle Sam, not Grandpa Sam.
you know what? That reminds me of a point that I actually
sometimes
really
tough love is important.
that I really want to make. And I'm like, well, on the surface, kind of what we're talking about is this is fraudulent, should be looked at. Food stamps is fraudulent, should be looked at. Pretty much anything going on in Minnesota is fraudulent, should be looked at. But you want to know the difference between us and them? You are part of the system. I'm part of the system. We're standing up to say, hey, this isn't right. Let's do something about it. You'll be looking far, far, and for a long time to find a food stamp recipient that's standing up going, hey, we got to overhaul this food stamp system problem. I'm getting food stamps and shouldn't be getting it. So that
interesting. That's
just
an
that
interesting point.
just that alone, that there are veterans willing to stand up and say, hey, I'm in this system, it's wrong, and I'm willing I'm willing to give up some of my niceties for the good of the country.
There are people, though, and my parents were some of them. We grew up very poor. Like, I think together, my parents were school teachers at like a private Christian school, and I think they made like the year I graduated from college, I think they made together maybe $45,000, $50,000 with 5 kids.
Wow. Sounds right.
Yeah, it's pretty poor. So they could have qualified for food stamps my whole time growing up. And my parents just refused to go. They would not do food stamps.
Yeah.
They just weren't going to do it. So I think the version of that for the food stamp question is people who are just saying, you know what, I will eat rice and beans because that's all I can afford, but I'm not going to make other people pay my grocery bills.
Yeah.
You guys ever see Cinderella Man?
Yes.
Cinderella Man.
You remember Cinderella Man? It's Russell Crowe where he plays the boxer, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
here's a guy who basically he had lost everything in the stock market crash. Anyway, but he was at a point where he refused to go on public assistance until he was going to lose till he lost his kids. Mm-hmm. He got on public assistance. All of a sudden, he got a shot to fight, and all of a sudden, he was making money again. And he goes back to the welfare office and pays back the money.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, where are those values today?
Where are those men? Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got, Drew? See if we can get through
Just
these.
another 11B back in about the cigars. He says, you're right. Caddy ordered and another box of Deltas. So now he's got 105 Deltas. Well played, Justin.
He's a problem solver.
Played.
He's a problem solver.
All right. Holy Fukin, he says in January 2026, President Trump claimed that coalition soldiers in Afghanistan stayed a little back, a little off the front lines. We've never needed them. We have never really asked anything of them. This quote got a lot of backlash.
I think he was talking about other nations' troops. And this was around the time we were talking about invading Greenland, and the Danes are like, "Hey, man, we've been there for you the whole time." And the Danes were there fighting, like hooking and jabbing, in Afghanistan, especially. I don't know exactly what the president was talking about there, but I think it was related to he was talking about other nations. And I mean, the Brits did good work in Iraq. I know a bunch of guys. I was never to Afghanistan, but I know that a lot of countries were fighting Afghanistan and actually fighting, not just pulling security on fobs.
This is one of those things where people don't like what Trump says, and there'll be some disagreement on this. And I already know how this is going to sound, but I don't care. I lived it.
Thursday night.
I don't like what he said and how he said it, but let me tell you, I did a bunch of combat rotations to both countries, and I saw a lot of coalition countries out there doing nothing. And they were out there, and you find out what do you support? And you find, they support that. What supports that? And you keep asking that question, and it ends up being one of those like circles that comes around, and then we support those guys. Well, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? So many of those European countries, and everyone's going to come back to me like, oh, I know this one team that did this. That's a drop in the bucket to the war. You're not going to want to hear this. Was it better with them? I'd like to think so. Would Afghanistan be any different if America alone took on Afghanistan or Iraq? Probably not. And that's going to sound like a dig on other countries, but guess what? You didn't do what America did, nor can you. And you can dislike me saying that, but that's true. Did I appreciate them being there? Sure. I can get on some real stories real quick of our. And it doesn't mean they're all bad and they were and that they didn't do anything. But let me tell you, let's not pretend like they did what America did. Just saying.
Can't disagree with that one.
We lose it, Drew?
I think I'm getting it back. I don't know what's going on here. I think I lost it. Might be a good time to go to a break now.
But that being said, just for a second to now walk it back to some degree, do I want my president saying that? I don't.
He's not always careful with his language.
He is prone to hyperbole, and I think sometimes he doesn't. I think sometimes he doesn't appreciate the fact that he's not just John Q. Citizen. And I think the average person loves that he says what's on his mind because that's the way they feel. The problem is that, I mean, as president of the United States, your words are almost like magic spells. They have an impact.
Yeah.
They affect people. Things happen based on what you say. So it might be wise to be a little judicious about how you say things.
He's not capable. He's not capable of it.
Well,
He's that guy that's like, you get the good with the bad, and that's what you get.
I'll tell you, and I've recognized this. So I've noticed at a certain age, in particular men, but all of us, at a certain age, it's usually right around 70. That switch that says I thought this, but maybe I shouldn't. I should rethink it before it comes out of my mouth, or not say it. That switch, it stops working.
Yeah,
and for Donald Trump, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
and he just says what is on his mind, and he says when he says it, and it is what it is. But what I like is he's got some people around him, in particular Marco Rubio and JD Vance, who do a very good job of explaining Trumpism in a way that's a little easier for folks to take.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back.
Well, how many more? Can you tell how many more? We're almost there. Okay.
Okay, Joe Saunders says, honest question, no jokes. Doesn't it, no promises. Doesn't it depend on the generation you were born to and what you consider a hardship? Some generations would shrug off what others would consider tragic. Just saying.
Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, I have twin sons who are 17, almost 18. They're lovely human beings. One of the things that's hard to do in a modern society like this is raise children where they have real grit. You know, like I when I was a kid, I had to take the trash out to the trash barrel and light it on fire and burn it. Right. I had to take care of the animals that we had on our farm. I had to help my dad with like stringing barbed wire fence and hauling wood to put in the fireplace because that's how we kept our house warm. So like, and it's really hard in, you know, sort of upper middle class kind of Northern Virginia area to raise kids with grit. And so what do? Like, we go to jujitsu, we work out, I do require them to do hard things because I see that problem, and I love it. I don't know how to do it.
Well, I think that's one of the advantages of, in particular, getting your kids involved in sports or athletics is once again you can teach them that grit. Yeah. But like I love all those like the reels that compare like Gen X to millennials. Like, you know, talking about how we were so kind of left alone that they had to put a commercial on TV at 10 o'clock saying, "Do you know where your kids are?" I mean, we drank out of the water hose. We'd be gone from dawn till dusk. Yeah. There was just it was a different time. There has to be a greater intentionality to raise your children with grit. That's why, like you said, getting them involved in martial arts. I always said you got to get your kids involved in at least two sports: one individual sport and one team sport, because they need to learn to work together, but they also need to learn individual achievement and learn how to work to improve and make themselves better. Yeah. And because in this society, because we're becoming so much more intellectualized, because we're becoming so much more sensitive, and we're trying to get our kids to be sensitive. I'm like, I don't. Not that I didn't want my kids to be sensitive, but I want them to be tough. I want them to be in touch with their feelings. I don't want them to be controlled by their feelings.
Right. There you go. Right. Yes. There you go. Yes. There's a great point. I like what you said about it was easier to do back then because there was no other option. Yeah. You had to be raised with grit. And I think you're doing a good job of it by things you said. So. Now you just have to be intentional with it. And I like how you said that. Can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
Can you do a one-legged squat?
I can do one-legged squats for days. Yeah, for days. Yeah. I used to do CrossFit, and I think my one-legged squat record was like, I think I could do like, at one point I could do like 210 with one leg.
That's one-legged. Of course, it's out of necessity.
It's out of necessity. Yeah.
But one-legged squats are no joke.
Dude, I've got a great story for you. So I did.
There's a point in my life I could do 500-pound squats, and I still couldn't do a one-legged squat.
I used to do triathlons, and so I did Ironman Arizona in 2010. And of course, I pedal with one leg because I only have one leg, right? And it's 100. The bike is 112 miles, so the swim is normal for me, no problem. I don't swim in circles. That guy's probably going to crack that joke. J-Dog is going to crack that joke. I do not swim in circles.
Way to get ahead of it.
Anyway, so the swim is normal. But so I get on the bike, and it's a 112 mile bike, and I pass this guy on like mile 50 of the bike. And he's like down in the speed bar things and the aero bars, and he's pedaling, whatever. And I just pass him, and I pull in front of him because and I hear him. He sees me pass him, and he goes, "Oh my God!" and then under his breath, but loud enough where I could hear, he goes, "I suck." It was so funny. So that powered me for the rest of the race, dude. It was the best. It was the best. Gosh. But the other thing I love is now that I quit doing CrossFit and I don't do triathlons anymore, but I do because I still do jujitsu. I really love when I'm smashing somebody who has two legs. It just makes me so happy.
Oh, I bet it does.
It's really fun.
Those two-leggers.
Those
two-leggers.
That's a spare leg. Dude. You don't need two legs to do stuff. One is fine.
Referring to
Look
us
at you with your training wheels.
Yeah.
One is fine.
Look at you bipeds.
Golly. Soft men. All right. Buff like Jesus. That's funny. Big problem is law firms will get Joe Snuffy with a stub toe to 100% by coaching and claiming 97 different things.
Preach.
VA comp law is becoming a huge for profit business. If you're faking for a handout, you might be Blue Falcon POS.
Yeah,
Lawyers
and we
have
talk
been
about that a lot in
of
this
our
book.
whole
Actually,
society.
it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's an enormous problem.
Well, and it's true just in general in society. Another great book, Tragedy of American Compassion, where we've developed systems that are about being good at filling out forms as opposed to really just, once again, developing a system that connects people to be able to analyze, to be able to have relationships with, and help identify and actually solve problems and meet needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We should like link these books. These books you've
Should
named.
link these books.
Find the Amazon link for those books you described because
I'll put it in the description.
Six's mom says people now take. In the old days, you would never take because it showed weakness.
That's right.
My dad is a Vietnam vet, and he didn't get checked out until 60. Asbestos in his lungs. His response, "Oh well, that's the men of the past."
Oh man.
Yeah.
Holy Fook, he says, Brent, why can't Tier 1 guys who need surgery be able to go to the world's best surgeons instead of regular military docs? With the money invested in Tier 1 guys, you should get the best medical care.
We can, and we do. Unfortunately, kind of a side story. It was just good intention, bad execution. When it came to my injury, based off of my own squadron PA's recommendation was to actually go to Fort Bragg and have a Fort Bragg surgeon do it because it's a lot like a compound fracture. What I had, and guess who has more surgeries than anybody else on compound
Fort Bragg
fractures?
Orthopedics.
Fort Bragg, because of the 82nd Airborne and them and all their jumps and everything they do. They have and so numerically he was far greater than anyone else. Unfortunately, I ended up having some issues, and again, good intentions, but sometimes quantity and quality aren't the same. But that being said, we were looking at other doctors, and that's why we went with that one.
Let's see. Let's verify we're connected. Everybody, okay. It says we're good. But some are saying, I guess it's just one guy. All right. Jared's son says, no one rides for free. Not everyone deploys to dangerous places, and our country owes you. Side note, why does no one say why Rob is PNG'd from the SEALs?
Not only is he PNG'd, he's on the rock of shame there, and it has to do with his book and his story. There you go. I'll tell you why.
Six's mom back in. This is a good one. She says, okay, as a woman, we are miserable. For 50 years, we have been called pathetic for wanting to stay home. And you can do everything. Baloney. Mom becomes the part-time job.
Yeah.
Until we wake up and live the truth, it won't be fixed.
That's
a
100%
good word.
right.
That's right.
What is more important than staying? It's not just, and this is how they'll view it. Oh, it's meaningless work. You're staying home. You're cleaning the house. You're doing the dishes. Those are all side tasks. The job is raising the kids.
Yeah.
And what's more important than raising your kids? Because if you're both at work, who's raising your kid?
Some stranger who doesn't
Some
care.
stranger who does not share your morals and is dealing with 50 other kids is not going to give them the attention that you will give your own kid.
My wife and I made it. We married 33 years, and we made a decision early on that someone needed to be focused and have their primary focus was the family, like the house, the home, right? And what was great about it was my job was to go out and conquer the world and do whatever, and her job was to manage the house. And she was the boss at home. And she was like, okay, I need you to do this. I need you to help him with his homework. I need you to take her to the dance, whatever needed to be done. She made sure that I was a good father and a good, that I was good at doing what I needed to do in order to make our home work, because that was her primary focus.
Yeah.
My job was to conquer the world. Her job was to make sure that our home was taken care of.
Right.
The well-known social psychologist and leading intellectual Chris Rock says, it's a hilarious bit. He goes, if baby can't read, that is mama's effing fault. That is mama's fault.
Yeah.
Well,
If baby can't read because there ain't no lights in the house, that's daddy's fault.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
It's just so funny, dude. It's so funny.
I get that. Hey, I was told I really should. We try to do things. I just think it's the right thing to. We try to keep the good things that we do personal. But it's not. Sometimes they should be talked about. People just don't always assume that you're doing good things. So Drew sends me a text message from Quay.
Oh yeah.
Pro or Prue
Yeah.
Junior, one of our listeners. He follows them, just some of your Facebook friends as well, Drew.
Yes. Yep.
Sends me a message that someone reached out, need help, looking for U.S. connection in Uganda, needing help with a situation with a missionary veteran with health issues there. He has experienced cardiac issues, and we're trying to get him cleared health-wise to get back to the United States to see his heart doctor at the VA. Please help me. Please share. Yeah. Drew gets a hold of this, says, hey, is there anything anything we can do?
Samaritan's Purse. Reach out to Samaritan's Purse.
It's already done.
Daniel, don't you worry.
It's already done.
Don't you worry. We got connections.
Cool.
And the Sentinel Foundation, whose primary job is counter sex trafficking for kids, has people all over the world doing great things. Just happened, I reached out to him immediately, happened to have someone in Uganda.
Oh, cool.
You know what's even cooler than this? He goes, hey, where is he located at? I get the city. He goes, you're not going to believe this. I'm going there tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I said,
Is it
all right.
odd or is it God?
Is it odd or is it God?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So he goes and sees him, and he goes, Brent, it's a good thing you didn't tell us a day later about this. This guy's in a bad way. He ends up having malaria and those other issues, and he is not doing well. So we were able to transport him to a hospital, get the medical care that he needs. We'll keep you updated. I believe he's on the up and up, and I believe he soon. They have to get him taken care. He can't even get on a bird and fly.
Boy,
they have to.
He's a sick fella.
He's very sick. So hopefully we will get that missionary back on a plane as soon as we can. Get him back to the VA. Allow the VA to all the bashing we do. Again, it's not the whole system. He's going to go back to the VA. The system we're complaining about, a part of the system, and the people we're complaining about, and they're going to do a great job. If he can get there, we'll keep you updated. But what a
yeah, it was awesome. Thank you, Quay, and I mean that's our community.
Yeah,
that's you guys out there. I mean that's this community acting like a family, taking care of each other. I love it.
Yeah, how cool is that? The Tier 1, at the end of the day, the Tier 1 podcast through listeners can get a missionary in Uganda to help that was basically on his deathbed
In less than a day.
in less than 24 hours. You guys are the best.
All right, let's see. Right Wing Nut. Thank you very much, man. He says, we had it so bad when I was a kid that my dad hung a piece of meat from a string and had to stand on a chair and swallow it. Then he would kick the chair out from under us and holler, "Next!"
I assume that's a true story. I have to assume that's a true story.
Why would it not be?
Why would it not be?
I read it in a super chat.
I read it in a super chat.
Come on.
So it must be
It's
true.
history. It's written.
Man. I tell you what, I know it's 10. Hey, you got to use the restroom or anything? You good?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. If you do, let me know.
All right, perfect.
I mean, it's
This
not
is the Tier 1 podcast. I can use your
no,
special
where's
bottle.
he gets the tumbler. Wait,
Oh, yeah, I need a tumbler because of my officer privilege.
here you go. This is what he needs. He needs one of these.
I appreciate it. He's not making us do it on air, but off air, he makes me call him sir.
I'm a civilian, dude. I'm a civilian. I get real uncomfortable and like drive like on a military installation and they salute at the gate. I don't like it, dude. I'm out of that world. It's not me, man. I'm just ugh.
Yeah. I love that about your personality. Which one do I want to go to first? Yeah, let's go to the first one we said we were going to go to. Drew.
Key.
While you're pulling that up, somebody says in the comments, this guy isn't Tier 1. I sniffed you out. He's definitely talking about me, and it's totally true. I'm on the Tier 1 podcast, but I'm completely posing. I was only ever conventional.
Real Steve Bannon.
Yeah. And you're not the real Steve Bannon, by the way. Nobody
Sniffed
believes
him out,
it.
did you?
Somebody sniffed me out. Somebody Googled me. Yes, I was not Tier 1.
But you know what you are? You're a Tier 1 man.
I'm a
and
guest.
we
That's
say
right,
that. We say that a
100%.
lot. We're building a Tier 1 culture. I want Tier 1 guests are, and you're a Tier 1 man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's see what this lady has to say.
I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him.
Nice.
And Grandma said it.
Dude, don't mess with Grandma.
Gosh.
Man.
I didn't see that before. That's great. I heard about it. I didn't see it.
I hate this so much. I wanted this to be a feel-good story, and I said, there's a part of me at the beginning that said, that's not what I want. That's not the outcome I wanted, so I'm not going to cover it. And I said, no, that's not how it works, because if this same thing was a Democrat, I'd do the story. So out of transparency, when I looked into it, I was so proud of that clip for a second. It's what I wanted. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So it sounded horrible. Her grandson was murdered, and I got his name, and I wanted to know a little bit more of the story. And his killer only got 16 years, and that's what she's mad about. And she's like, you take a life, you get life. And so at that on the surface, I'm like, yeah, okay, I agree with this. And I love that, we have a black woman like standing up for Trump and what we all know, he's not racist. He does these things. Here's the unfortunate part of that story.
I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Here's the unfortunate part of that story. Her grandson was sleeping with his significant other in his bed when he came home, and out of a fit of rage, shot him 7 times and killed him. And he eventually gets arrested and gets 16 years for it. Well,
Wait, so the
husband comes home.
The husband comes home, and that dude, kid is in here.
And the kid is having sex with his significant other. I've read a couple articles. One said had just gotten done, and one said caught. But the end result is the same. He's laying in bed with his significant other, and either was or recently did. And out of a fit of rage, he shot him 7 times. I'm not saying that is okay to kill a man, but what I'm also saying is maybe this isn't your spokesperson, for this event. Like we can find this.
I'm not saying it's okay to murder somebody, but I understand.
So yeah. So
not okay, but I do understand.
It's not an excuse, but it explains a lot.
It's not an excuse; it's an explanation.
Yep. So again, I ran the story as much as I hate to, because I'm telling you. I'm just being transparent.
You're trolling me by running that show because you thought I'd get all excited, and then
no. Well, I trolled myself by doing it. Yeah, as well, because I loved it. I was all excited about kind of doing this piece, and I had a whole different narrative going on in my mind, and then I did that, and I was like, but you know what? I've done it before. I've done it when I believe Democrats put someone up there that the story sounds good. You find out more about the story, and so you pull the curtain back. You're like, aha. You were wrong. That's not what you should. That you should have looked into that story. And I do that to that side. And they unfortunately give me ammo all the time for doing that. And so I would be two-faced to find that out and then not tell more of that story that I found out.
Well, so, I don't know. At this point, he may not. I mean, the trick may not even told him that she was married. So I'm going to go with that till I know better.
The trick, Drew. You're so street savvy.
Hey man,
so street savvy.
We called them tricks back in the 90s.
Yeah, somebody says T-Bone here says guns don't kill people, but husbands who come early do. Come home early do. You are so right, T-Bone.
Yeah.
You are not wrong at all.
I'm not going to show it because we got other things to do. Running a little bit late. I was going to talk about but I'll talk about it for a second. I was going to bring up the MJ thing. Have you guys seen? So Michael Jordan is part owner of the NASCAR team that wins the Daytona 500. If you're Michael Jordan, you've won 6 national titles. He's probably a billionaire by now. He can buy anything he wants. That if you think about it of sorts, that guy's life, like post NBA, has to be pretty dull. Because if you think about it, what makes him happy?
Basketball,
winning.
Yeah, and he's not competing anymore.
Right.
And
he plays golf.
Is it buying a boat? He can buy whatever boat he wants. He can buy whatever car he wants. He can buy whatever house he wants. He can do whatever he wants. But winning, that guy couldn't have been any happier winning the Daytona 500. Yep. And that guy was elated. I don't know why he decides to pat that little 60-year-old on the butt a couple times. It didn't look good.
So I heard that the kid had that somebody had dumped a thing, and there was a bunch of ice trapped in the kid's shirt, and he was trying to get the ice out. Yeah, that's what I heard, but I only saw the clip.
And people are running with that story. And I'm not saying I know the guy personally, but come on, that's not.
People just enjoy tearing down.
Right.
They enjoy building people up so they can tear them down.
Yeah, and it sucks when every part of your life is on camera. Everything is on camera and scrutinized. And he's also seen holding the kid on his shoulder. He's good friends with the NASCAR driver and his whole family, and it's just unfortunate. But it's one of these how dare. I don't know. I'm a little bit mad about it, and I'm not holding Michael Jordan up on a pedestal and be like, "Hey, well, you can't, because he's a star." That's not why. We know enough about that man to be like, "Come on, that's not MJ."
Out of content.
Yeah, out of context. Yeah. That, out of context. So we'll just. But here's. So I don't want to tear down MJ, but I do. I love it when this girl is in the news. Oh, that's that one, Drew.
Oh, what girl?
The next one down.
Oh, you said that was next after that one.
Yep. I said we're going to skip MJ and just talk about it.
Oh, my bad.
Be a part of the podcast, Drew.
Well, I don't have your videos memorized. Here we go.
Cortez carpet bombed herself just by speaking.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a.
Come on, Kamala Jr., you can do it.
This is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation.
But it took this.
All right, hold on. Let's pause it there. We're not going to go away from it, though. I love that. I do believe they're kind of testing the waters to see if they can, how she's going to be as a next presidential candidate. And we got Kamala Jr. over here. This isn't, and I almost want to say this isn't the horse you want to ride, but you know what? I hope it is. I hope it is.
You have been tested, you have been weighed, and you have been found wanting.
Found wanting. It's a good biblical. Good, well done.
But you know what? I'd say they're not dumb enough to do this.
Ezekiel, I think.
But it's the same people that were dumb enough to put Kamala up there.
That's
so
a Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
yeah. All right, let's hold on. Here, it's not like they just threw her into this. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were getting into, yet you refused, or either refused or incapable of doing the hard work, understanding it, and at least doing an average job to get through it.
The problem is that most folks on the left, most politicians on the left, they never get asked the hard questions. They go on CNN, they go on MSNBC, they go on ABC and whatnot, and they get asked these softball questions like, there's completely and utterly softball questions, and then they're allowed to just speak and not really have to really answer tough questions. They definitely don't get any follow-ups.
And it doesn't matter how bad they do because the media is going to cover for them.
Oh yeah.
So let's see what else.
But by the way, did you hear what JD Vance did?
No.
JD Vance, and he was giving a speech. He said, I almost decided I was just going to pause here for 20 seconds and not say anything, kind of like AOC, so savage, just to see if the media will speak as kindly about me as they have about her.
Right.
He's a savage.
That's just one part of it. Let's see. Maybe she pulled it through and got better after that. Let's see.
Most of America to realize that AOC didn't do the reading. Now, why? Because she's never been challenged. She catapulted her way to political stardom by acing Instagram and TikTok. But then by cocooning her, the media didn't really do her any favors because now everyone knows she's failing, not only geopolitics, but economics too.
So when you run for president, are you going to impose a wealth tax or a billionaire's tax?
I don't think that I don't think that anyone, and that we don't have to wait for any one president to impose a wealth tax. I think that it needs to be done expeditiously.
Couldn't master basic sixth grade geography when talking about Maduro being arrested by the U.S. and Venezuela.
He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
What?
Below the equator. Time to study map, AOC. That can be confusing, the equator.
I love it.
Alexandria Ocasio.
Oh my gosh.
That's a brilliant raid, though. By the way,
Is it?
your boys, your pipe hitting buddies are.
Couldn't have been any more proud to be a part of that organization. Couldn't have been any more proud.
And the Night Stalkers did not quit.
No,
they never do.
They're. I think a guy's about to get a Medal of Honor.
That's what Trump said.
and he deserves it.
I do know the backstory.
Yeah, he was shot while inserting, essentially bleeding out with a gunshot wound in his leg, and kept on flying and made mission the whole time. What's cooler than that? What's more putting it all on the line than like doesn't matter what's wrong with me. It's not time to stop, time out. Let's put myself first and let's see what's going on with me. I'll fly it till the wheels fall off because it's my job. And guess what? I'm just going on a limb here. Something tells me he's not going to be looking for any extra compensation for what he did.
He's not going to write a book.
And guess what? And he should. Gosh, you asked me that question. I lost my. I got so proud of the Delta Force guys. I lost my my train of thought about AOC. Dang it! Trust me, it was. You just have to trust.
Otherwise
me.
known as Alex the bartender.
Oh, right. Oh, all right. Let's go back to some because she just makes me mad. Let's go back to a little bit. It's funny enough. I didn't know we were going to go on this subject, but what we were talking about, I can't. The best video I can show you of a difference of mom and dads and how they treat their kids may be summed up in this next video.
I'm like shit, I hopped out so quick. Then I raised my blick and I don't miss. I let off 2 shots, I hit him in this shit. Now Bonte quick, what you finna do? Cause this gon' make the news, gotta make your move. Told that bitch get in cause she looking confused. I broke the rule, cause this bitch a witness. Plus I just fucked her, but she ain't crying. And it's so smiling, cause this bitch look cute, so we slide out. I'm checking my mirrors, made it to the house, so I hop out. Another ain't hungry, I'm not back, no doubt. I know you mad, cause I smoked your man. Left him on the curb, he started smiling. She say fuck that nigga.
Oh, and he gets up, I love it.
Form tackle.
Oh my gosh. There's I don't know. I don't know if oh gosh, this is just gonna sound bad, but I'm not gonna shy away from the truth. In fact, it'll be easier if I put you on the spot. You're welcome.
Oh no, what are we doing?
Are the women doing that because they're too nice to their kids, or because they're not as athletic as their dads and they couldn't do that to their kids if they wanted to, just based off not based off the clip that we just saw?
I think those moms never were in a position to learn to use their body as a weapon.
Yeah,
right. They just don't know how to move in that way.
Right.
There are women who are like, there's some women who could definitely make those form tackles, but
I've seen some of those reels with the moms who like smash their kids.
Right.
There's some of those.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those.
There's some degree of cherry picking going on there, but
it's a funny clip.
But it's hilarious, but it's not completely wrong either. And having actually done that with my son, I almost feel a little bad because let me tell you, I'm not that guy that lets my kids win just to boost their confidence. Nah, dad's going to win every time. But man, I'm also not going to pile drive you in front of your friends. That's a little much.
Get up and flex.
I still play basketball with my son twice a week, and athletically, he is just so much. I mean, so far ahead of me. But the one thing I have is I have size and dad strength.
That's right. You body them up,
and it's one of those things where it's like physically, I'm like, look, I've got to win this one.
Right.
I'm like, you may score more points, but you're going to pay for every point you score. That's right. That's a dad thing. Right. It's like
you're going to remember we played. You're going to know you played your dad.
Exactly.
Yeah. When an adult man grabs a hold of you, if you're an adolescent or a young man, when an adult man grabs you, you're in deep trouble.
Well, and we played. I grew up in a time when basketball was considered a contact sport.
Right.
Nowadays, if you look at them, they go falling. They've taken the whole soccer thing and they'll flop for a second. But
LaFlop. Oh man, he's really ruined it for that. Mm-hmm. And the whole rules of the NBA has really castrated that organization. That I grew up playing basketball on the pickup courts,
right?
And it was.
You can't foul out on the street.
Yeah, I grew up playing tackle football. I grew up playing baseball. I grew up playing basketball, organized and pickup. And let me tell you what made me a very rough man pickup basketball on the streets and just again being
on concrete
with predominantly black men that were much older and more I was more athletic, but they were older men, and they knew how to make sure that I didn't score it at will, and they imposed that will on me. And if you acted weak, if you didn't get right back up and not call foul, there's another kind of like important thing, like just generalizing. This generation would call foul, I'm like, it's a foul. Like the older generation, it's a sign of weakness to call foul. Like it has to be flagrant for you to call a foul. And that was part of being a man. Like, you know what, you can do that to me, and I can take it. And that's my sense of pride.
All right, so I'm gonna take this kind of a little bit of a different direction, and that's one of the reasons why we learned, men in particular, when we were growing up. You learned about physical confrontation. People don't realize how violence averse naturally we are. But as kids, when you're playing contact sports, you're doing stuff, you're getting that level of aggression. You learn to recognize, okay, all right, I could probably handle that dude. That dude, I'm gonna be a little bit more because I've seen. Look, he's boxed me out. He's knocked me down. But we learn about that taking on and the challenge that you take in challenging someone physically. Right. One of the reasons that that's really odd, you see now in a lot of these videos now, you see these liberal women, liberal white women out there.
They're the prophet.
Out there getting in the face of armed fat liberal white women.
Getting in the face of like armed men.
Of armed men. And they're like, I'm like, what are you doing? And then completely and utterly surprised when dude just straight arms them and they go flying.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, as men, we kind of learn.
We learn at an early age.
We learn at an early age. FAFO.
Right. Yeah. And guess what? It seems like we had similar, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you had an option as a young man to pick up basketball. If you didn't like the violence down there, stay behind the 3-point line. That's for you. But if you're going to drive to the hole, that's where the violent men were. And if you make that decision, you've accepted the consequences.
I can't shoot 3-pointers. So. There's not much difference between my football game and my basketball game. Just saying.
All right, I'm glad we broached that subject as well, because it really ties into the next set of videos, Drew. And we'll start with this one.
He had gender reassignment surgery, according to court documents, goes in, gets that all done. His wife says, I can't take this anymore. I'm filing for divorce. And in the paperwork, she said it was because of his transitioning and also his personality problems. So now Roberta's social media posts are under investigation, and I'll show you why. So just hours before the shooting, Roberta is online posting all these things on X, sticking up for trans Congress member Sarah McBride, telling people to back off. In one post writing this in part, don't be so hurt over somebody different, then wonder why trans people go effing berserk. So more information will come out as they continue to dig in here out in Rhode Island. But one thing the police do know for sure is that this was a targeted shooting. So
are you guys familiar with that shooting and what happened?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Shoots his wife, shoots his kid. Believe he shoots 2 or 3 other people as well before he turns the gun on himself and kills himself. For his wife to not want to be divorced, not want to be married to you anymore, I hate it. That has to be understandable. Like she married a man, and you've decided that you don't want to be a man anymore. You changed the contract. And now you're upset that
ain't all he changed.
Right. It's just crazy. Like it is. And here's the other kind of point that I want to make. And again, we have to be able to have honest conversations. You can look at that person. And I've said it before. Don't ever tell me don't judge a book by its cover. Of course you judge a book by its cover. So you can look at the pictures of that person, and I'm telling you, that is not a mentally healthy person. Any man that wants, and he did get gender reassignment surgery, that's not a mentally healthy choice. And when and you referred to it, they've been changing. What's the DSM-1?
DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual is what it's called.
It used to be
that was a mental illness.
That was a mental
it got dropped a couple
illness.
like one or two iterations
and
ago.
I believe two revisions ago. Now we've completely changed it as a point of pride that you're brave for doing this. You're encouraged for doing this, which is kind of revolves around our whole talk. And we've done this person, whole society has a massive disservice by encouraging this rather than telling him what he really needs to hear, and that's the end result.
But I'll tell you, and I think it can go potentially even further than that, because we have this society right now that is just so pushing the honoring of and the celebration of transgenderism, that you have a lot of people, and it's amazing because he already had, clearly he had other mental disorders. They already talked about it. When you talk about some of these shooters and the mental disorders or the psychological disorders that they had, and someone then convinces them, well, you know what your real problem is? You're in the wrong body. And so then they convince them that if I go through all these processes and I do all these things, then I'll feel better. And then guess what? They don't. They don't feel better. There is absolutely no evidence. There's a reason why the American, plastic surgery, the organizations over plastic surgeons, there's a reason why 7 different countries have said they're no longer doing this for children, because they're recognizing it's not reducing suicidal ideation. It's not reducing the number of suicides, and it is in fact causing physical harm. But the problem is, I think, and not that I'm saying that gender dysphoria is not a mental disorder. It is, but just because someone has a mental disorder does not mean that they're prone to violence. But when someone has a mental disorder and then you try to solve it with transgenderism, with gender, changing their gender, and then it doesn't work, that then can be that catalyst that gets them to violence.
Well, you take a man and you suppress his testosterone and you give him a bunch of estrogen, and then you add on a bunch of SSRIs, and then you say, and oh, by the way, society hates you and wants you to die.
Right.
Now you've put somebody who's mentally ill on a bunch of very powerful drugs and told them that they're at risk from everybody else around them. It shouldn't be surprising that we're seeing a lot of these kind of shootings.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this last night, too.
We can't hear you, Magnet.
We were just talking about this last night, too.
Yeah. Drew, let's. I'm gonna build on this a little bit, but keep going, Drew. To was it next? Yep, this person. You guys hear about this one? Oh, this.
Good morning. It's your favorite hobo you love to hate. I just wanted to do a check-in, let people know that I am being safe, I'm being secure. I have taken care of my needs, and I am just chilling until I actually go for my sentencing. And I did kind of realize that we do have a highly unique opportunity here, whereas I'm someone who did something heinous and I'm on social media, whereas pretty much all the other people who do something heinous get locked in a box and blocked out from society, and they don't get to talk to them. So, does it put me at risk? I'm already at risk.
Okay. His vehicle in the middle there has "Every Child Counts" painted on it. He stabbed his kids. He even slit the esophagus of his daughter,
8-year-old daughter.
What's he doing on? What's he doing out?
I know.
Yeah, what's he doing out?
He's on bail.
How do you get bail for that?
You live in California.
Yeah.
Craig lives in California, and what's the law?
Oh no! It's Alberta. It's from Canada. This person's Canadian.
I
North
don't care.
California.
This is
North California.
North California.
What's the law that Gavin Newsom's passed?
What? Couldn't hear you.
Magnet, you have to speak in the microphone if you're going to be a part of this podcast.
There's a law that Gavin Newsom's just signed off on. What was the law about the kids with the
transgender thing that we were talking about last night, where they can.
Oh God, I don't know how much we had to drink last night. Okay, that's fine. I remember the conversation. There's that one point that I don't remember.
And I get it. Some people say, "Oh, you're cherry picking." Of sorts, but here's the problem: there's no shortage of these stories, so it's not it's not necessarily fringe. I can show you video after video after video after. We could have done the whole podcast on these types of videos. Drew, go.
Yeah, when you're that small of the population,
that's right. When you're this small of the population, you have no business having this many videos. Was
Look
this
at
the one?
this super chat, dude.
Oh, what's it say?
Had one in our infantry battalion during a squad leader course. They made him the NCOIC of the transition range, rifle to pistol, poetic. That's really funny. Dude, the Army is hilarious sometimes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna save that one. The one that says that one. Go down. No, that's up. Go down. No. You're right, Josh. Gosh, you're right. Let's go to this one real quick. Yep.
Go out, buy a gun.
It's okay to be angry.
Oh! Get out of my face now!
If you try to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom,
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
be the last mistake you ever make.
It is ma'am.
Find that anger.
Just because. Hey!
Harness it to do good in the world. This anger.
Done, man. We can just make a fucking batch and say that some of us fucking well.
Anger is probably my primary source of motivation.
You want to call me sir again?
The thing is, you don't have to leave.
You lose everything.
For everything that I do.
Cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
I'll fuck you up.
It was a call to action or a call to arms.
It's not! It's sorry,
Don't be afraid to show your anger.
Ooh,
Boy.
ooh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
It's just
this is why
we can't ignore this.
carry.
We can't. we as a society at some point. When are we going to say stop and say? And here's of course. I'll say something a little bit that I don't mean, because I was right the whole time. I think most sensible people were right, but some sensible people may at some point have to go, okay, we gave them the benefit of the doubt. We trusted the science that said, hold on, this isn't a mental disorder. You know, they will be their happiest if we let them be their true self, and we let this experiment play out. But the experiment playing out is over, and it has not done what you said it was going to do. So when do we, as a society, say, okay, we were wrong, we have to address this now. We had it right the first time. Are we not capable of doing that as a society?
I think this transgender movement is receding rapidly. I do. I mean, you saw Matt Walsh, his What is a Woman is a spectacular sort of comedic takedown of this nonsense. We're seeing states banning transition surgeries. We're seeing other countries are saying we're not doing any transition surgeries at all. I think that this the movement has peaked. And is well into its recession now, and this is like the tail end. This is like the insurgency after the.
I mean, you're. I think we're done. I think we're done pretending that men can play in women's sports. That is going away.
As someone who is in ground zero in California, I'll just say this. Number one, we never trusted the science because there was nothing scientific. We trusted the experts,
the scientists,
the people who were supposed to be providing the science, and they never actually provided any science. In fact, what's happening now, and that's I talked about a little bit earlier, the studies that they've been doing, the 7 European countries are now no longer doing this for children. And you've got the American Psychiatric Association, not psychiatric, plastic surgery. The American Society of Plastic Surgery is no longer doing it for minor children because they're now recognizing the data is coming in and it's doing more harm than it is good. So we're starting to see that, but there are folks like, and I hate to say this, policymakers in California are doubling down. I think that this is an issue that is an 80-20 issue where most of the world, or at least most of the United States, is on the 80% side. We're like, look, once again, if you're a grown adult and you've gotten all of the information and you don't have other psychological mental issues, you do what you want to do and live your way the way you want to live. Don't make me celebrate it. But mostly where the line is being drawn is with children, because children, I mean, you got in California, a child under the age of 18 can't go to a tanning salon with their parents' permission, but they can go and they can get, they can get this medication that is going to cause osteoporosis, that can sterilize them, that will permanently alter their bodies, as well as getting surgeries without their parents' knowledge or consent.
Here's my argument about that, and it's going to go into something that we didn't get to talk about during the recorded, so I'm glad we're going to get to talk about it now. And I'm gonna get there in 2 steps. What you said about the data, I wish that were true, because if we were data driven, then global warming would have gone away years ago. If data was true, then the VA would have seen the piece that was written about in your book, talking about PTSD treatment and how it the symptoms magically come up right when it comes about time to really get your evaluation. And then when that scientist or doctor at the VA noticed this, did a whole 100-person evaluation of it, had data, sends it up, and the VA is like, "Nah, don't like your data. That's going to cost us money. We actually need more funding. I don't like your research."
You're 100% right, except I'll say there's one middle piece that gets in there, and that is litigation. Because see, the data is used in the litigation in the court cases, and that's what you just saw, $2 million settlement.
I thought it was 5, wasn't it 5? It was a lot. That girl who got transitioned,
who got transitioned. She sued the
psychiatrist and the surgeon both,
and that's one of hundreds of lawsuits. That's, by the way, the reason why the Plastic Surgery Association had said we're no longer doing it for minors, largely in order to protect against lawsuits. So that's where litigation is starting to make a difference, and so the data is now being applied to the lawsuit. So you're right, society and the media is not listening to the data, but the entities who are afraid of getting sued, because once again, it comes back to the money. And
a rare win for the lawyers.
Yes.
So, Brent, funny story on this subject. I was at Busch Gardens with my family, and we're on the back of this truck with like 10 other people, strangers.
Okay.
And the tour guide is saying, this is how you tell the difference between a male and female gazelle, or whatever it is he was pointing out. And I, as the wise arse that I am, raised my hand, and I said, how do you tell the difference of the other genders? And there was silence, odd pause by the tour guide, and the whole truck erupted in laughter. My teenage daughter leans over and goes, "That was a risky joke, Dad." I said, "I don't care."
Hey, the best jokes are risky.
It's the only kind of joke dads make.
I don't know why we get it so right in animals, and a lot of these scientists that believe in evolution and believe we're animals get it wrong with humans, which is ironic because you get it right with animals. Scientists have no problem defining 2 genders and what a female animal is, and they'll give you an answer, and backed by science. But we can't do it for humans, and they won't even do it when it comes to humans. Here's another point of that. Scientists, including our government, ironically enough, when it comes to animals, knows. In fact, they'll put up signs. They want you to. Do not feed the wildlife, because if you do, they will become dependent on that and no longer hunt for their own food.
Right.
Don't you think that's ironic? That's exactly what we're doing with welfare. And that's right. And that's exactly what we're doing with the VA in our handouts. If you give people enough handouts, they will no longer work for their own food.
Of course.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly right.
I can't.
I've made that argument. I've said that publicly too.
Yeah, I have to. I saw you make it. That one I didn't steal from you, but I'm glad you came to the same conclusion. I did. Drew, let's do one more video with the. I think it's the last one that we talked about. We'll go down.
That woman there, that woman who started off that other video, actually does look like a woman.
That one right there in the middle.
That does look like a woman, and then you're like,
at first,
that's
then
a
you
dude.
hear her talk.
Yeah,
you're like, oh gosh.
This one's just for your viewing pleasure. Can't make it up.
Can you not hear it in my voice?
Are you going to cry? Because I asked you to define a term on your sign. It's actually not even spelled right. It actually says fascism. Your sign says fight fascism. What is fascism?
Fascism is the breakdown of a society. There's no society when fascism is present.
Can you give me a definition?
I don't really know if I have to give you a definition because I know I feel violated against my government.
Fight fascism.
Okay, but what is fascism? When we want to fight something, it's easy. It's good to define them, right? We could phone a friend. What is fascism? You could help her.
I don't want to speak to you. I'm fighting for how I feel.
Right.
For others.
How I feel.
What specifically do you feel?
Can you not hear it in my voice?
What the media
Are you gonna
tells
cry?
me to feel.
Because I asked you to define a term on your sign, and I'm not trying to make you cry, and I don't think you should. I don't think you should cry. I'm just asking you to define what fascism is because I see a lot of people getting labeled this, and whole administration is being labeled that ICE agents are labeled as fascists. And it's getting them hurt. And so I think if we're going to talk about fighting fascism, which people do by assaulting ICE agents, by going after Trump, trying to shoot him dead on stage, he's labeled a fascist, and then someone tries to take his life on stage. Charlie Kirk was labeled a fascist, and he got murdered in front of everyone. So I think it's important when we are holding signs in public that say to fight fascism, it's important to define it.
Wow.
Can you not hear it?
You know it's that I really wanted to point out about this because it's not. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. It's not impossible. Because a part of someone may look at that and based off of what we just said and be like, aha, look, let's talk about how emotional women are and how illogical they can be. Well, they can be, but so can men. Guess who was also not emotional and laying out a very logical argument? The woman. The woman talking to her.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, they're more than capable of it.
She's probably got a good relationship with her dad.
There's a truth joke there. Actually, but yeah, it's crazy. One, you misspelled it. You put fascism. You can't make this up. And that's not a gotcha question. Like I think if you're there fighting it, I think you should be able to define it. I don't think anything wrong with that, Daniel.
No.
Yeah, I know you're all up in those chats.
No,
I
love the chats, dude. They're so funny.
Let's go to the super chats. I know we got a couple super
president
chats.
says fascism is just ugly. That's funny.
Yeah, Max has he's got a tinge of facism. A face only a dad can love.
All right. At some point, we got to do a word from our sponsors. Yes or no?
It's an extra live.
Okay. Oh, it's an extra live.
Yeah,
okay.
we already knocked out our mandatory.
Okay, we
live
had
for the month.
it so bad.
She went to the Leering Center to learn how to spell fast.
Yeah, she went to the Leering Center.
The Leering Center.
And then that's
Leering Center.
Look at Magnet. Look at Magnet coming through.
He said that one in the mic.
All
right. All right. Eclectic Carbon says, had one in our infantry. Oh, let's see. Daniel said that one.
Yeah.
Valkyrie Zeb 28, as they say in Canada. Adam and Eve made in the image of God.
Correct.
That's truth, man. That's truth. Six's mom back in again. She says, this generation's anorexia. Remember that. No matter what a man is a man and a woman is a woman, very few have a genetic mix-up. What is the percent to transition completely? What is the percent to transition completely?
Yeah, I
Aloha
saw something
from Kawi or Kauai, depending on Who's texting me?
I saw something that just the other day about this, that only a very tiny percentage of men who are transitioning to be female, quote unquote, are having the quote unquote bottom surgery because they're just not willing to commit to the bid.
Well,
right?
It's also.
I'd respect you more if you did.
There's repeated surgeries and physical issues enough that are just so related.
You can't just
to that.
make a functional. You can't keep the wound from closing.
Exactly.
Is the problem.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be graphic.
Right.
It's just the
but
science.
if you're really a woman inside, wouldn't the body know to close that up?
Or to keep it open,
would
rather.
think.
We'll keep going. Craig, can you send me the CAG caddy, the CAG caddy over, please?
Yes.
Max, you're gonna have to move.
No,
buddy.
Max is not going to like this.
Max, you better watch out.
Oh.
He's gonna run into the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
All right, what do you got, Drew?
I got nothing.
That was the end
That
of
was
it?
it, yeah, that
All
was
right.
it.
We've done it. And we even... Thank you. One last time, I'm telling you, if you guys are intrigued by what we're talking about, if you're upset by what we're talking about, and maybe you're upset because you don't know the extent of what we're talking about, there's no way in a live we can bring up points and we can bring up data, logic, reason, but if you want the full story, go to the book and at least get educated on something that if you're upset about this, if you agree with us and you want to know more about this, you should still read the book and really learn what's going on so you can better, so your argument or your belief system can be better grounded in the truth. Tell them where they can get the book.
Yeah, so the book's on Amazon. It's called Wounding Warriors, How Bad Policy is Making Veterans Sicker and Poorer. And you can go to woundingwarriors.com and read an excerpt of the book there. General Mattis loved it. A couple of former secretaries of the VA loved it. All kinds of good cover blurbs, and I think you'll love it too. You might hate the argument, but at least it's well laid out and well sourced, and
that's right.
Then you're more educated, and you can decide whether you go with it or not.
I completely agree with that. Craig, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Craig DeLuz, or you can find me at therundown.us or 2anews.us.
Magnet, what do you do?
Nothing. No,
he
you can
lives
find
off
me.
the VA.
Definitely didn't serve.
I saw him standing in my garden, actually.
Just gnoming it up. Yeah, he'll do that.
Without the pointy hat.
He'll do that.
You can find me on the websites www.lionarmsusa.com or lion_arms at Instagram.
All right,
we're having a fire sale right now since half of the shop burned down on Monday.
Should have talked about that earlier. A store next door to him caught fire, and of course his building took his part of it took some of the brunt of it as well. Drew, what do you do?
Everything. Hey guys, I've started up doing some content some more at Truth in the Dark podcast at YouTube. Truth in the Dark. Right now we're doing Proof the Bible is True. Proof the Bible is True using prophecy. So check that out if you'd like. And also, life's too short not to take some time, get with some boys, smoke a cigar, go to frcc.shop and get your sticks.
All right. We got some songs to play. We got some regular chats to read on the way out. Please, if you want to continue to support the show, you like what we do, please join our Patreon. We are giving away something that I cannot talk about, but all you got to do is join the Patreon, not do anything extra. Just joining the Patreon gets you a chance to win what's right behind me. And we're going to give it away first Thursday of next month on the live. Doesn't matter if you sign up same day or if you signed up a few weeks ago, you have an equal chance to win that thing just as it sits, everything on it for free.
Which one?
The top one right there. We can't talk about it because they will kick us right off. They will kick us right. They get big mad. All right. Night Stalkers for Megadeth wins it. I didn't know it's featuring Ice-T. Did you know that? Let's see. Let's see what Ice-T and Megadeth cooked up. And this is the time. You can go right through it. Any chat you want, Daniel. Any chat you want.
No, I'm good.
All right. You got to pick one. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Oh, man, I do. I love that Eric Church song. Here we go. Took me a second, as it always does. Apparently, I have the same technology prowess as my brother, and this is the only thing. I got to do, and it still takes me too long to get it going. All right, the sign YouTube. He's giving away the sign. We want the sign. No, we're not. Oh, we're not giving. No, we are not giving away the sign. But I see what you did there. I appreciate that. But if YouTube's wondering, it was possibly the sign.
Probably got to turn the music up a little bit more.
Yeah, gotcha. Macho, such a pretty sign. Thank you. When is Cat Granddaddy episode coming? You know, that is on our Patreon as well. I did a episode with my dad as like my very first like trial episode to get everything running. And I didn't post it on YouTube, but I posted it on Patreon. It was really cool getting to interview my dad.
Why are people mad in your comments about Nate at VFT? What are they upset about?
Selling out question. I don't. We're reading the regular comments, so if you guys,
they're asking, has Nate sold out?
I know, but you got
sold out about what?
Yeah, sold out about what? You got to give me a little bit more about that. Brandon Bailey, shout out to my boy Luke, double amputee in 2013 Afghanistan, Logar Province. Fob Shank. You want to talk about it could always be worse of sorts, like that's a random question, but do you ever look at like double amputees and be like, well, it could have been worse? Like,
yeah, actually,
I mean, I know that's a silly question.
That's a great question, actually, because I think that's true of life generally, right? You can look at people who have it worse off than you,
right,
and say, and well, you can look at people who have it less bad off than you and be jealous,
right?
Or you can look at people who have it worse off than you and be grateful for what you have. Yeah. And it's a very serious orientation question about, like, do I choose to be grateful for what I have?
Yeah.
Or do I choose to be jealous about what, other people have?
Nah, I love that. It's all about mindset. And mindset's a choice. Mindset's a choice.
Absolutely.
When the little bro retires, will you have him on? We want all three Tuckers. I can't wait to do a live episode with my little brother's a command sergeant major in the Army. We joined together. He's still in.
Is he in the unit?
No.
Is he a unit guy?
No, he stayed in air defense and went really far.
That's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to retire.
I thought he was a breacher. I thought you had a brother that was a breacher. Who am I thinking of?
No, that's a preacher.
Preacher. Yeah.
No, not that. I know that. He's a breacher for Jesus, aka a preacher.
There you go. Breaching those hard hearts.
Breaching those hard
Boom.
hearts.
Breaching the gates of heaven.
Oh. Let's see.
No, I'm thinking of Tom Spooner's brother.
Oh, okay.
He's a preacher.
Okay. All
right.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's
actually.
right.
I believe so. Brent, would you still go skydiving? Yes, I would. I would still go skydiving. In fact, I can't remember if I remember right. I believe Devin said she's never been skydiving, and so no, she never has. And I asked, so I don't think skydiving is very dangerous, but still, I still trust anyone with someone very significant in my life. So I reached out to Andy Stump. I said, Andy.
Did he say take her?
Yes, he did. He's awesome.
I got to go with the Golden Knights twice.
Did you?
Yeah. And I trust those guys totally. I mean,
were you strapped in?
I was strapped. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah.
Strap some staff sergeant to my back and jump out. It's cool. It was really cool. It was really, really fun.
The old Daniel rucksack.
Yeah.
How nervous were you the first time when we're 15,000 feet?
I mean,
zero,
almost zero.
Really?
I was just excited. It was just cool.
Yeah.
I had total trust in their professionalism.
Right. That
no
definitely
concern
helps.
at all. If I'd been strapped to some pot smoker at the local skydive center, no thanks to that mess. But you put Andy Stone for one of those guys on your back, and you're fine.
They have thousands and thousands of jumps.
So do you.
I do not have thousands. No, I do not have thousands. I got a few under my belt, but those guys are at a different. They really are at a different level.
You can't tandem jump with someone
No,
else?
I did not get my because they bundle. Ironically enough, the tandem course is the tandem bundle course, and I didn't mind like the tandem part of the course, but I really didn't want to ride out a 500-pound barrel tethered to me. It just wasn't something I was excited about doing. If they'd have told me like, hey, we need you to do that, I'd have done it. But luckily we had enough qualified guys that we didn't need.
Are you going to jump when she jumps?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm a jump out. I'm a jump when she jumps. Heck yeah. The only way I would skydive is with special ops, and that's the only way so far I have skydove. You gonna give that to me?
Skydived. Yeah.
Skydiving.
Yeah, skydiving. I think you gotta, if you're gonna say skydove, you gotta say done skydove. That's the only way I would done skydove.
I think I saw Brent at Camp Spiker in the motor pool in 2004. You might have. I remember Camp Spiker. I got a funny story about that. That's a story for another day. Get you some. Delta Dad says good stuff. Love it. Yeah, his dad was in the unit, and he's always in the comments like, "Yeah, my dad's proud of you." There's nothing better than having a former unit member.
Generational.
Yeah. You definitely want to make those guys proud still. Worked 12 hours today, then just got called back in for a call an hour away. Thanks for keeping me entertained during the drive. Zulu Fox Golf. Man, let your carbons back in. People perceive Valhalla to be anti-Trump, MAGA, Republican, etc. Not my cup. Well, not my cup. But that's what people are saying.
All right.
You know what's really funny? In fact, I just called Nate yesterday. I'm in the space. You would think that I watch a lot of podcasts, but
not much.
I don't. Most podcasts I watch usually have to do with another guest coming on. So I watched Andy's because of you.
He did a good job.
Andy does a great job. Of all the podcasts I watch, I by far don't catch every episode. I probably watch Andy Stumpf the most. Yeah, just have a lot of respect for that guy. A bag of 25 million grenades.
It's a big bag.
There's a big bag.
50 I thought was a lot.
That's a weird number. Where'd you get that number from?
50 is a lot of grenades.
Man, it is. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We went a little bit over, but it was just too fun to call it quits. I can't thank you enough for tuning in, guys. Daniel, I can't thank you enough for hopping on a flight down here.
No problem.
Brent,
pun intended.
We'll do it again.
You gonna give me that one? Hopping on a flight?
I see what you did. I see what you
man.
Hopefully it was a direct flight, one leg, if you will.
It is the limit. All right.
Yes, I hopped on a one leg flight.
What are we doing after this, Brent?
What are we doing after this?
Yeah.
Depending on everyone's schedule, we're going to go smoke cigars and tell stories that were even too much for this episode.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next Thursday. Next Thursday, I believe, is Xavier Lindoff, a former teammate of mine in the unit that's doing a lot of great things all over the world when it comes to long distance shooting. So tune in next week again. Thank you, guys.
Like and subscribe.